Yeah. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Giants Conversation. So unfortunately, the Giants could not get it done against the Philadelphia Eagles last night. Getting embarrassed pretty much by a score of um 38-7. So looking at this game, it's quite obvious to me what the issues are. Because if you're looking at a Giants team, and the main thing that has happened with this team is the offensive line and the defensive line. Um, they got pushed around by Philly. I think we underestimated our O line and our D line. I see you, Mitch. Told you I wasn't going to run, bro. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? We fans, but I'm gonna always give you the real spill. You know what I'm saying? And you're more than welcome to hit the link right now if you want to, because I don't run. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I talk shit, but look, the New York Giants had a good season this year. A solid season. We made the playoffs after coming back from a 4-13 season. This team is pointed in the right direction. We have a head coach. We have a GM. I think we got to have a quarterback, and if we just put together some solid other pieces, then I think we'll be fine. But that said, man, y'all kicked our asses yesterday, man. That is what it is, man. And that's twice this season. So to me, props to the Philadelphia Eagles. I said I would come on here and give you guys credit, and I gave you guys credit. The lines for the Eagles are dominant over the Giants right now. And disappointing in this game was the linebacker play. I can't lie to you. The linebackers are terrible. Jalen Smith shouldn't be in the NFL, in my opinion. I want him off this team as fast as possible. I mean, this is really bad. All right, see you Tuesday, Mitch. I'll be live Tuesday too to talk more about this disaster. But I just want to come on here, man, and just, you know what I'm saying, let's try to talk this out, Giants fans, because a lot of fans are panicking, man. A lot of fans think it's the end of the world. A lot of fans are saying, cut this player, cut that player, get rid of DJ, get rid of Saquon. There's some things going on in Twitter and in the Giants community, man. But just want to address some of these things, man. And let's just talk about this team overall and what we need to do moving forward to close the gap between not only the Philadelphia Eagles, but I think the Dallas Cowboys as well probably would have beat us. Maybe not as bad, but look, our lines is the problem. The offensive line, the defensive line. And this was one of the strengths that I personally thought was going to be a strength for this team this year, but that has not turned out to be the case. So we got to get better. We got to get better with the lines. And in this game, we could not stop the run. This has been a problem the whole year with the New York Giants. We could not stop the run. And if we could have held the run down, because look, the Eagles didn't pass all over us. They ran for 268 yards. So when you got a team that can run for over 200 yards on you consistently, you have a problem. You have a problem. Minnesota didn't run the ball. They didn't run the ball for whatever reason. Dalvin Cook, they wasn't effective. This team is a running team. Guess who else is a running team? The Dallas Cowboys. Guess who else is a running team? The Washington, whoever they are. So we've got to get better at stopping the run. What does that entail? NYG22. That means going and getting you a linebacker, a couple of them. The New York Giants have not drafted a linebacker in the first round since Carl Banks. And that was in the 80s, y'all. I was a baby when the last time the New York Giants drafted a linebacker, and the last time they had linebackers in a front seven to be really feared was in 2011. The last Super Bowl run. So this team is long removed from the defensive dominance that it takes to shut down these type of teams that can run the football. We were not effective running the football. I don't know why Saquon Barkley only had 9 carries. Maybe somebody can come up here and explain that to me. But look, man, you're not going to beat the Eagles. You're not going to beat the Cowboys. You're not going to beat the 49ers. You're not going to beat some of these teams if you can't run the football and you can't shut down the run. Julian Love and the tackling yesterday was abysmal. I know Jeffy and myself has been a Julian Love fan, but that was pathetic, man. He did not put on a good performance yesterday at all. So I think we need to think about where we going for, what we're going to do forward with some of these pending free agents like Julian Love, McKinney. Well, he's not a pending free agent, but Julian Love is, and of course, some of these other receivers. I don't think they did anything special, of course, because they can't get open. They could not get open consistently against Bradbury and Darius Slay. Those guys came to play yesterday or last night or whatever I should say. So just want to come on and talk about that here a little bit, man. But yeah, man, what can you say? What can you say about this team? We had a good season. The New York Giants had a solid season. But now it's time to move on. Now it's time to look forward to the future. Now, we're going to be able to sign some of these guys that we're talking about bringing back. I don't know now. Now it's kind of murky, after the performances. What's good, Almighty? What's good, bro? Appreciate you coming in, man. Yeah, I'm excited too, man. That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about some of the potential moves that could be made. I've heard things like letting Julian Love walk. Some people are mad at Leonard Williams and the way he played in the game, or this season perhaps. I think he kind of underperformed this season, but you can't cut Leonard Williams because he has $34 million, I think, owed to him next season. He's gonna be a New York Giant, unless they want to eat $20 million. Remember, you got Kenny Galladay is not a free cut. You're gonna have to eat some money when you cut Kenny Galladay. So I don't know if we just can cut a lot of these players that are making a lot of money. Adoree Jackson, man. He's a high price guy as well, man. We need cornerbacks, man. It seems to be the Bradbury trade or release has come back to haunt us a little bit, man, because our corners haven't played well either. But they didn't kill us. What kills us is stopping the run, and teams know that. So what you gonna do if I know you can't stop the run, then there's nothing different for me to do but just run the ball, and that's what the Eagles did. They just ran the ball. Jalen Hurts threw 24 passes. He had like 20 more yards than Daniel Jones. So that should tell you everything you need to know about the Giants and what teams think about the Giants. They know we don't have linebackers and we can't not stop the run, especially to the outside zone. So we've got to get linebackers in here. We got to get corners that can tackle, safeties that can tackle. We got to get push up front. Can't keep letting these guys, Azeez Ojulari, I'm sorry. I look, this may be an unpopular opinion, but I think we need an upgrade from Azeez Ojulari. And I'm gonna tell y'all why. Because one, he stays hurt, and two, you need more than one guy from the pass rush standpoint. You know, you can't have Dexter Lawrence doing everything and giving you his all from as a pass rusher. Thought Kayvon Thibodeau, he's still a work in progress. He will be better. We're gonna build off of that. But what we need to do is get another guy. When the Giants have been good, they've always had more than one guy, more than two guys, sometimes more than three guys. You need a bunch of them. Look at the Eagles. That's the blueprint that you're looking at right now, because that's the team you got to take care of. You can't keep having these butt whoopings by your division rival, man. And I said this in the beginning of the season. A lot of people gave me pushback on that. The Giants can't be taken serious until you start consistently competing and beating the teams in your division. We were 1-5-1, or 1-4-1 this year in the division. You know what I'm saying? There's two other teams in the division besides Washington. And that seems to be the only team that we can compete with. And they at home on the couch like we are now. So, you know, they not a top team. They got work to do as we do. So we can't keep going in here, man, expecting things from the New York Giants when there's a huge deficiency, and it's in the lines. It's in the offensive and defensive lines. Go get Kazir White. He's going to be a free agent. I mean, yeah, we could talk about that, man. Personally, I want Tremaine Edmonds. I think he's a Buffalo guy. He's worked with Brian Dable. He's worked with Joe Shane. I know Buffalo's going to want to keep him, but pay the guy, man. You got 50 plus million in free agency. Go get you a Tremaine Edmonds. Build off of that. You know, go get another guy in the draft. You're going to have to get a wide receiver or 3 or 4. And you need cornerbacks. You need corners. You know what I'm saying? But I really want this team to focus on the offensive and defensive lines this offseason, because we are getting pushed around. That's our weakness right now. When you matching up against styles make fights, when you match up against different teams, it's going to be different. But the teams in our division, they got strong offensive lines and strong defensive lines, and we're not ready to compete quite yet with Philly, and in my opinion, Dallas is the same thing as well. You know what I'm saying? So, Trey Edmonds only 24. Right. Exactly. You can build with that guy, Almighty. You can build with a guy like Tremaine Edmonds. You know, go get you. I'd rather spend the free agent money on a linebacker than going out and signing or bringing back Julian Love. I'd rather give Tremaine Edmonds that bag and let Dane Belton start next to McKinney next season, if that's the case. Because Love is a free agent. You know, and he has not played well down the stretch, and he has not shown that he's more valuable than Xavier McKinney. And that's one of the things that I thought, but that's not the case right now. That we're seeing that, because Julian Love just is not the talent level of a guy like Xavier McKinney that can cover and play sideline to sideline. That's not Love. You see he gets beat a lot in coverage. He's being exposed. So I'd rather give that money to Tremaine Edmonds or a linebacker, man. That can really help our run defense, man. These guys getting ran over, man. Arm tackling. And the Giants got this thing where they always trying to go and reach for the football instead of tackling the ball pause instead of the ball carrier. Like, tackle the dude with the ball. They always reaching for the ball, trying to create fumbles, man. You can't play like that against a team that is a team like the Philadelphia Eagles. You know, you got to shut them down. You got to be physical. This team was not physical, man. They was getting pushed around like little kids out there, man. Word. Yeah, just a few more pieces. We ain't far off. We're not far off. This is not something to where I'm sitting up here saying, "Oh man, we just what we going to do?" You know what I'm saying? We not far off. We need to get better in the interior offensive line. Evan Neal needs to grow. I'm not giving up on Evan Neal. He's a first round draft pick, for crying out loud, man. The kid had a rough season, but we expect that. Look at the talent level. We talking about how deep our defensive lines are in this division. So you got to understand this kid was going against the best of the best in his first season, and I still think he held his own. This playoff game was different, man. The Eagles are a different team, man. They don't got just one guy you got to block. You got to block all 5, 6, 7 of them, however many they bring in. So that's where I think trade for a wide receiver. I could see that. And I think that's the blueprint. So let's talk about it. Should the Giants trade for a wide receiver? There's been T. Higgins floated out there. There has been Hopkins. There's some other guys out there that I can't think of right now, but those are the two main ones that I've heard possibly being trade targets for the Giants. And you need a guy. You need a number one guy. You can't not go into next season with a bunch of rookies and Wan'Dale Robinson and Hodgins. You can't do that. It's not going to cut it. And the problem is these wide receivers don't get the separation isn't there. And also another thing is they don't know how to play off script. This is something that we talked about in even me and Big Pat. We talked about it with Coach too. Learning how to, play off script when the play breaks down, man. Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and the Chiefs are probably the best in the league at that, but you need a little bit of that, man. Everything can't go according to the script on every single play, Daniel Jones, I think, has been much better at being off script, but we need the wide receivers to be able to find spots in the soft zones. And I think Hodgins was progressing at doing that, man, but he's just one guy. He was a guy that we got off the practice squad. Shout out to Hodgins. He did his thing this year, but he's not a number one. We know that. You know what I'm saying? He's a borderline 2, maybe a 3. So we got to get a guy that's the defense really has to pay attention to. Almighty says Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Yeah, we'll see what the Bucks do. They might be blowing it up. So bookends, what's good? Bookends, hat on hat. They just beat us in the trenches. I agree. That being said, our O-line pass pro is weak other than Thomas. So we should have lived and died by the run. And I think after they score easy, we panic. I agree. Kafka got cute, man. And he's trying to create his own offense. You know what I'm saying? But game plans change from game to game. You can't play. You shouldn't have came out with that same type of game plan that you had in Minnesota. Want to come out throwing the football. You know what I'm saying? The Giants should have ran the football. You can't play the way you play against the Vikings, against the Eagles. Two different teams. So let's not sit here and say that Kafka didn't have no other option. They only ran the ball 9 times. And you're not going to beat a team like that. Yeah. And when they score and they get up on you 7-0, 14-0, you see the wheels come off. You can feel it. The wheels coming off for the Giants. And that's exactly how I felt last night. When that second score happened, I said, it's over. It's a wrap. Because this team is not explosive enough to be able to dig themselves out of that type of deficit, against a team that can run the ball and control time of possession, so and the Eagles ain't make no mistakes. That's another thing, that they made very little mistakes. So when you have a team playing clean football and when we're playing sloppy, 4th and 8, what are you doing? The interception, just penalties, just different things like that. I mean, you're not going to be able to beat one of these top teams the uh in the NFL, But what do you guys think, man, in the chat, man? What do you think in the chat, man? Let's talk about some of these players, man, and what we think or what we feel like they should. Because I'm ready to move off this game. I do not like the Philadelphia Eagles, obviously, and I don't like Eagles. To me, are a team that is they're not classy. They show zero class. They were sitting there partying, pranting, parading, going for it on fourth down when the score was clearly or at least trying to get us off sides, and just the shit that they do, man. I don't like that team, much like the Cowboys. I think they're not classy organizations, and I hope San Francisco 49ers beat the shit out of both of them, if not one, but both, and go to the Super Bowl, because I don't like neither one of them organizations. The Eagles are trash, man, just from a class standpoint. They didn't have to act like that, man. They felt like that shit was their Super Bowl, the way they was partying and pranting and running around. I thought y'all supposed to be a Super Bowl contender. You beat the New York Giants. Now you some type of big dog or something like that, man. Like, screw Philly, screw Dallas, and let's keep it moving, y'all. Let's keep it moving. Let's get on to the offseason. Let's get on to the draft. And we're gonna be better. We're gonna be better. Promise you that. The New York Giants are gonna be back. We have turned the corner. We just need a few more pieces. Remember, this is the first year of the rebuild. The first year we made not only did we make the playoffs, but we won a playoff game. Hold your heads high, Giants fans. Hold your heads high. We are ascending. We ran into a brick wall, literally. Because we couldn't move either their offensive or defensive lines. And that's it. You get beat. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I puffed my chest out and talked smack, but god damn it, we deserve it. You know what I'm saying? Like, the team been trash, man, for years. So I don't feel bad for talking shit and saying that we was gonna beat the Eagles. And the Eagles fans that want to pull up and puff their chests out, they sure as hell can come on this show right now. I do another one Tuesday. Pull up. We could talk about it. There's no shame in my game, man, because my team is a good team and it's a bright team moving forward. Like Bookend said, what's good, Blue City, man? I forgot all about that last night. Right. Yeah, we're trying to put that one out of our system. Get that one out of our system. That's why I did this live today, because I don't want near Eagle fans saying that Giants fans is running or Giants fans ain't are going to go, because that's what I heard. So I'm here. Show up. I ain't running from nobody. You know what I'm saying? I'm still confident in my team. You know what I'm saying? So Booking says, plus they have a great secondary and don't have to blitz to get pressure. So a good point. And that's the thing. We got a blitz. And I think it looked like Wink Martindale was scared to blitz yesterday, because he didn't want to leave AJ Brown and Devontae Smith one-on-one with our corners. And Smith beat Julian Love on one of those plays. So that's the thing right there. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing right there. We need to be able to get pressure with four, and this is why I want to build on the lines this offseason. The line, not only the lines, but the whole front seven, the linebackers as well. Because we have to be able to get pressure with four, but not only that, we got to be able to tackle and and shut down running teams, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's on your linebackers. Jalen Smith was abysmal, man. Abysmal. And he hasn't been good all year. Landon Collins is not a true linebacker. That's not a guy that I'm looking to bring in to fix this run defense. He's a bit role player. I would like to bring him back, but what are you expecting? I'm not gonna have no high expectations for a guy like Landon Collins to come in here and fix the New York Giants run defense. So that's what we got to understand. What's the expectations here? The future is bright. Progress. Yes, we made a lot of progress this year, man. That's what I'm saying. So Eagles fans better pull up on us because they don't know how to trust trash talk. Right. Yeah, they did a lot of trash talking, man. And so did I. So but what I'm not gonna do is run. I'm not going to hide. I'm not going to not do my live streams. I'm not going to tuck my head down and saying we shitty and trash and get rid of Jones and get rid of Leo Williams and get rid of that player and get rid of that player. I'm not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because I see the progression and I see the path that we have to be on the level of some of these top teams. You know what I'm saying? The NFC is weak, man. It's not like, wow, we got these juggernauts in our division or these juggernauts in our conference. Philadelphia is not a juggernaut. They're just better than us right now. You know what I'm saying? They can be beat. And there's a path to beat them. We just don't have the talent to do that, unfortunately. I looked at it as like, hey, maybe the Giants, if they play clean football and they play mistake free and they stay on course like they did against Minnesota and put together scoring drives, we can hang with this team. But that wasn't the case. They got out to a slow start, went for it on fourth down. It backfired, and that was it. And there you go. They was off to the races, man. They came out from the jump and went all the way down the field, and that took the air out of you as a team, man. That's deflating when the team can just muscle you like that. And so that's what I'm talking about, man. Let's get these lines fixed, man. Evan Neal has to be better. We need a center. I want to upgrade at right guard. We talked about linebackers. I want to get somebody else outside of Azeez Ojulari because he's unreliable. He only played in 7 games. And he didn't look good last night. Probably because he's still hurt. The kid can't stay healthy. We knew that when we drafted him. We knew that. We knew he wasn't going to be able to stay healthy. So, this Giants fans that, that's looking at Kayvon Thibodeau and putting the blame on KT, look at the other side, man. Kayvon Thibodeau been playing his ass off, man, pause. But he's getting held and he's not getting respect because he doesn't have anybody on the other side of him to garner attention in order for him to, excel on the other side, and that goes again to the whole defensive line. Outside of Dexter Lawrence, I think they played all of them, man. They didn't play well. They got pushed around the run. They wasn't stout, and after work tomorrow, when I get to work tomorrow, I'm gonna have my Giants gear on. I'm ready for it. That's right, man. So don't let the Eagles and their fan base and the Cowboys fan base chump us. Even though they whipped us on the field, look, man, the Giants are back. We're here now. We're not a laughing stock. They gotta pay attention to us. They gotta respect us. So and once we get the pieces we need, we are going to be Super Bowl contenders. Look, we're almost there. We made the divisional round of the playoffs in the first year of a rebuild. Philly didn't even do that last year. Remember, they lost to Tampa in the playoffs. So, you know what I'm saying? Dallas is Dallas, man. They just a fluky team. You know what I'm saying? And nobody's confident they're gonna do anything. They're a regular season team, But Philly's legit, man. There's a legit team that you're gonna have to worry about, man. And they got a top 10 pick, y'all. So we gotta get rolling. We gotta get our trenches fixed. Um and we gotta get pressure. I mean, we gotta be able to put pressure on these quarterbacks in our division. Look, there ain't no world beating quarterbacks in our division, man. Some people want to move off of Daniel Jones, but what's that going to do? It ain't like you got Pat Mahomes in your division. We looking at Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott, and whoever the hell did the Commanders decide to put out there next year. So it ain't this ain't like we got some juggernauts. That's what I'm saying in our division. It ain't no Peyton Manning, ain't no Tom Brady in this division. It ain't no Mahomes. It's Jalen Hurts, who didn't really have to do anything last night. I mean, he was basically the definition of a game manager. And we all know what Dak Prescott is. He's overrated. So, I'm for bringing back Daniel Jones because at this point, you can tell it's not the quarterback. It's really the lines, man. The offensive and defensive lines. And I'm going to keep on saying that to drill in people's heads that, look, man, quit focusing on the fucking quarterback. Look at these lines, man, and look at your division. The easiest path to winning is winning your division and doing well in your division. We were sweating bullets towards the end of the last few games of the season, nervous about making the playoffs. Why? Because we didn't take care of business in our division. 2 losses to Dallas, a tie to Washington, and 2 losses to Philadelphia. That's not going to cut it. That's not going to cut it. Now they beat the teams that they needed to beat to get in there. And that's how you start becoming a good team, is by beating the bad teams. Now, to take the next level, the next step, you got to start beating these better teams, or at least competing with these better teams in order for you to really be considered a true contender. But I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. This team had an excellent season. And like we said, the future is bright. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, what y'all think, man? I guess everybody's kind of still brewing on the loss, but I don't see nothing to be mad about, to be honest. I mean, it sucks. It's Philly. I get it. You don't want to lose, and you damn sure don't want to lose to your division rival. I get it, Giants fans, man, but come on. You know what I'm saying? I know we emotional, and there's a lot of irrational statements being made out there right now, but come on. You know what I'm saying? Look, we're ahead of schedule right now. We have 11 draft picks. We have $50+ million to spend, with possibly to create more to spend on guys that we trying to sign in free agency. If you want Tremaine Edmonds, if you want to bring Jones and Barkley back, we have the money to do that. We're not cash strapped no more. So man, hold your head up, man. The future's bright. We're going to get into this off season, man, and we're going to cover all of it right here on Unpopular Opinion Sports. I'm going to still do Giants conversations, and we're going to still keep this train moving, man. Ain't nothing to be ashamed of this year. For real, man. What's good, Deception? No fickle fan here. We have a bright future. Let's get to work. That's what I'm talking about, bro. Let's get to work, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about this draft. Let's talk about it, man. It's Giants conversations. Have a conversation. Who would you guys want us to take in the first round of the NFL draft? Now, we're going to get into the draft more extensively here moving forward, but let's just float some ideas out there, man. If any of you guys got any names, let me know. I haven't really dove into the draft yet because we was focused on playoffs, and that was a big change from previous seasons to where now here we are in January and we getting our draft talk started now, man, which is what I want to see every year. I want it to be after February because that means we won the Super Bowl, but we ain't there quite yet. But what are y'all guys' thoughts on this upcoming draft? And just give me a position that you would target. If you got a name with it, that's cool. I'll look them up. But if you got a position, man, because I'm thinking, to be honest with y'all, if we don't get, it's got to be a lineman, in my opinion. I know everybody wants a wide receiver. I think there'll be some wide receivers. This camera's fucking up. I think it would be some wide receivers in the later rounds, but I do feel like that the lines, like, look, if you can get another edge rusher with the 26 pick, we're in the 26 pick. So if you can get an edge rusher or a high level guard or center or somebody that you can move to center, I'm all for that. You know what I'm saying? Linebacker, I'm all for that. I don't know if I really want a wide receiver in the first round. Unless it's just somebody drops or somebody falls because of where we're picking. Bookend says we need to keep building on what we have, want to build for long-term success. So inside linebacker, one guy, secondary depth, D line, center guard depth, upgrade receiver. I agree. You know, I definitely agree. Deception says, to be honest, I have no idea who's in this draft. I need to look at some of our realistic options, but I would definitely target linebacker, O-line, and depending who's their wide receiver. I agree. Center and guard. Yes. Gotta fix the lines. Because if you guys, and I'm hearing it on Giants Twitter, you know, and even on Facebook, it's everybody's tired of losing to the Eagles. And so am I. I'm sick of it. You know, I'm sick of you know, my wife's an Eagles fan. So, you know, I have to hear it all the time. So I'm tired of losing to Philadelphia. So and Dallas too. So what we gotta do is match up with what their strengths are, which is their lines. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Philly's got AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. I get it, but they don't mean shit, man, if Jalen Hurts don't have no time. So, you know, they have a top 5 O line and a top 5 D line. That's why we keep getting whooped up on them by them. Which Giants players do you see not coming back, and what is the future for DJ and Saquon? I can answer that for you, Blue City. Um, just going down the line here. I'll start with some of the pending free agents. We'll start on the offensive side of the ball. So let's go through it. Start with Slayton because I've talked about Slayton a lot. I do not see Darius Slayton coming back. He has let me down. I was one of the ones saying that, you know, we which we did need Slayton. I don't think I was wrong in that, but he's not what this team is a fit for this team moving forward. I don't think they bring him back. And the main reason I think they wouldn't bring Slayton back is because he's probably going to get a contract, man. The wide receiver group for free agency is not great. And that's just is what it is. Let's go to the next guy, Richie James. I don't see Richie James coming back. He dropped a wide open freaking touchdown. You know, so, and he's a bit player, you know. If he was bought back on the cheap, I could see the only reason I could see that, y'all, is for Wan'Dale Robinson and Sterling Shepard insurance. Because if you're talking about bringing Shepard back, which a lot of Giants fans seem to want to go down that route again. If you bring in Shepard back, then you need to upgrade. I mean, or you at least need to have some insurance for him. So Richie James could be that insurance, but I really don't want to see Richie James and Slayton out there again as our starting wide receivers next year. So I think they move on from both those guys. Saquon Barkley. Deception says I wouldn't bring back Barkley, Love, or Slayton. Barkley's tough. I'm bringing back Barkley, and the reason is because he's your leader. Saquon Barkley's the only one that I felt like really showed up in that game last night. He played his ass off, man. And they didn't want to give him the fucking football for some reason. But he played. He came to play. Saquon is a guy you can build around. Now, what's the contract going to look like? I personally think they're probably going to start off franchising Saquon Barkley and try to work out something along the lines of a 3-year deal. And I think that's where I'm at with Saquon. So I bring him back. Feliciano, get him the hell out of here. Who else is on free agents? I think Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones. Look, let me cut my camera on for this one. Look, y'all. Daniel Jones. Noel Sewell could be an option. I agree. But let's talk about Daniel Jones for a minute, because that's the hot topic. That's the hot topic with people is Daniel Jones. So Daniel Jones, I think you gotta bring Daniel Jones back. And the reason I say that is because of continuity. Because if you bring in a rookie, and people talk about Derek Carr, I don't want Derek Carr on my team. I'm sorry. I'm not a Derek Carr fan. And there was people pegging him to be an MVP candidate. How absurd is that? You know what I'm saying? You know who you are. So, but I'm not bringing in a guy like Derek Carr. Damn sure not bringing in Jimmy Garoppolo or anybody along the same skill level or that I feel like Daniel Jones could be at. You know what I'm saying? We talked about just a few weeks ago whether this guy has moved into top 10 status. And when you go down the list of quarterbacks, man, an argument can be made. This game wasn't on Daniel Jones. Yeah, he had an interception. Wasn't a good one. You know what I'm saying? But Bradbury's a good cornerback. You know what I'm saying? But look, when you talk about moving off from Daniel Jones, and I've been saying this since I started YouTube, give me another option. Give me another option. Give me the other option that you're going to bring in that's going to play as well or better than Daniel Jones. Well, really, you got to say he's got to play better than Daniel Jones this season, because you call yourself upgrading. Right. So if you upgrade him from the quarterback position, you're going to have to bring a guy in here that's better than the guy you're replacing. So tell me the guy that you guys or whoever wants to replace Daniel Jones, if you guys are doing that or you want to go that route, who else are you bringing in to replace DJ? You know, so that's my thing. I think a smart GM like Joe Shane can work out a reasonable contract to where it don't hamstring the Giants if they do decide to move off in a few years. You know, you give them a 3-year deal, maybe with an option for a 4th year. Coach Ed has actually talked about this. Check us out, man. He'll be on with me Tuesday night, Heart of the City, 8:30. But he talked about this too, about having a void year on the 4th year of Daniel Jones's contract. So if you do want to move on at that point, you can move on at that point. But the thing about it is we're not moving off of Daniel Jones right now because we don't have another option. You want to build. You don't want to, if they move off of Daniel Jones, that's telling me they're rebuilding. They're scrapping it and they're doing it all over again, because guess what? You got to get receivers. You got to get, now you're going to have to get a quarterback. You're probably going to have to replace Saquon Barkley if he's not going to be back. And it's going to be something you guys don't want. Trust me, because we're going to be arguing about this team next year because they're not going to be good coming in here with a rookie quarterback, you know. And I don't feel like a guy like Derek Carr, because remember, these guys going to have to learn the offense. It's going to take them, as long as it took Daniel Jones to get to where he is now, it's going to take the next quarterback that you bring in here just as long, which means we're going to have an entire season next year of growing pains with our quarterback. And I don't want that. I'm tired of losing, and I'm damn sure tired of losing to the Philadelphia Eagles. So bringing in somebody else ain't going to fix the problem that you got with beating the Eagles, and that's the offensive and defensive lines. So which good point, brings me to my next guy, Nick Gates. I'm moving off of Nick Gates. Unless Nick Gates wants a contract to be a backup guard or a backup center or one of those swing positions, I'll move off of Nick Gates. I don't think Nick Gates has played well. People can argue with me. I think Ben Bredesen has been much better. And he is a guy that I will definitely bring back, but I think he's under contract anyway. Guys like Ben Bredesen, Isaiah Hodgins, some people have talked about Andrew Thomas, Dexter Lawrence. Look, y'all, these guys are not free agents. They're not free agents. Even Dexter Lawrence is not a free agent because, remember, they picked up his 5th year option. Jones is a free agent because they declined his 5th-year option. Remember, they were in the same draft, same round one. Dexter Lawrence was round one, so was Daniel Jones, same year. So the reason you don't have to really do anything with Dexter Lawrence on the forefront at this particular time is because you picked up that that 5th-year option. So I'm looking at moving off of guys like uh possibly Julian Love and possibly Nick Gates. Coach, what's good, Coach?
What's up, bro? How are you, man?
What's good, my brother? Shit, man,
Yeah,
maintaining,
it was
man.
just,
Trying
I
to
was
trying
just,
to calm these Giants fans down. You know, I'm not really one to be calm. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But I'm like, let's pump the brakes, man. We had a good
yeah,
season. It was a good run,
we did,
man. But
we
you know what I
did.
mean?
Sorry, I didn't see this. Actually, Mitch just told me I was taking my meds, my punishment from him and Cool Cat.
I
So
know. I
you know,
invited him to come up on the
yeah,
show, but he said he got a podcast. They'll pull up
yeah,
Tuesday.
yeah. They'll
They'll
be
pull
here
up
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
So, like I
Yeah.
said, I
So.
was there, and he told me you had this, and I'm sorry that I missed it, the
Oh
early
no, I
notification.
I I
So
I wasn't going to do one because I had an
very well.
appointment, but my appointment canceled at 10 o'clock. So I was like, I'm gonna hop on because what I don't want the Eagles fans to say is NYG is running. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
facing you guys head on. I
Hmm.
told you that I'm a man of my word, and I told
Hmm.
you if y'all beat us, I will come on here and say you guys were the better team. You guys were the better
Hmm.
team. You know what I'm saying? Uh, bad luck in the next round, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. But you guys were the better team. Congratulations. You know, I hope all the worst for you. But yeah.
So yeah, no, I get you. I get you. I get you. Hey, it is what it is. But yeah, like you said, and I get the frustration from a lot of fans. I get it, but
Mhm.
I'm already looking at film. I'm already on
Right.
to
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah.
I
Me
was,
too. Me too.
I'm on
And
to
that's
next year, and based on what we have, though, honestly, our future is bright. I mean,
I
we
agree.
if Joe Shane has done
What's good, Mac?
everything.
What's good, brother?
What's up, everyone? Joe
Yeah.
Shane has done everything he said. He said, compete for today. This team
Mm-hmm.
competed and
Mm-hmm.
build for the future, which is
Facts.
exactly what he's doing. So I
Mm-hmm.
have trust in what he's going to do and, the maneuvers. Some people may not like it because they may not understand it. And I think that's because you don't have deep insight. So you just go on speculation and what you think and what you're
Mm-hmm.
used to.
Mm-hmm.
But the man knows what he's doing. And Dable, to coach the way he's coached this year with the talent or
Mm-hmm.
lack thereof, like I said, our future is bright. The NFC East is for me is back, and that's what the NFL needs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean
Azudu's hurt. Blue City.
yeah,
Who's talking about
he,
Josh Azudu.
yeah, he's on
Um,
IR. He's on IR.
IR. Colin Johnson. He'll probably be back, but we don't know how he's going to look. So that's not somebody I would count on. I think
Mhm.
he comes back as a camp body, and they want him to get in there and compete as they should. So I feel like they will bring a guy like Colin Johnson back.
Mhm.
So coach, we're just like you said, we're trying to move this thing forward. So I
Okay.
just want to come on here, kind of talk a little bit, kind of talk lightly. We're gonna get into the draft and to the free agency and all that. We
Mhm.
got plenty of time to do all that, but just wanted to kind of talk lightly about what happened in the game and also what some of the positions that we need
Yeah.
to and some of the things that we need to do moving forward
Yeah.
to fix this problem so this doesn't happen again. I don't want to see this shit again next year. I promise you that. I don't
No.
want to see that.
No. No.
You know.
I mean, the biggest thing. I mean, let's be real. They rushed for 268 yards, and the
Right.
vast majority of that was in between the tackles.
Mm-hmm.
That's the heart of the defense. Like in
Mm-hmm.
baseball, what's the straight? What's the heart? Right up the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing in football, and that's what they did. They attacked Dexter, Leo, and our linebackers, and that's what they done in that offensive line. I mean, what they did to Jelly, because that's a perfect name. What
Yeah.
what you call
Jelly.
it did to him. I mean, I said it last night. They gave him butter, syrup, and they sprinkled some powdered sugar on top of that. And then they asked him, "Do you want a little side of fruit with fruit sauce on the side too?" I mean, that's embarrassing.
Right.
And that's where they dominated us last night on the interior, on the
Right.
line. Same thing on the defensive line. They put pressure on DJ. They
Mhm.
shut for the most part. But Saquon had that one big run, but other than that, he was shut down. He was controlled. I
Mhm.
mean, their defense dominated. I mean, Bradbury with that interception, he baited DJ. But I also will say that Slayton stopped and started to go back to the outside. So I don't think they were on the same page
Mhm.
because if Slayton had came across best case scenario, or worst case scenario, he at least deflects the ball and it's not intercepted. So,
And that's the
um,
thing about coach. That's the thing about these wide receivers.
mhm,
Um it's the route running. And this is what I've been saying about the type of receivers that they would look to target for Daniel Jones. Everybody wants a burner or this Kenny Galladay type receiver. They want route runners. They
mhm,
want guys that know how to run routes, that know how to find the soft spots in zones, that are on the same page with the quarterback when the play breaks down and that can go off script. Isaiah Hodgins is a guy, but outside of him, don't none of the other receivers
mhm,
give you that, and he
mhm.
can be shut down because he's just a guy. You know what I'm saying? We've
Exactly.
seen that. They shut him
Hmm.
down, and Richie James and Darius Slayton couldn't get it done.
Exactly. So, I mean, next year though, I mean, I forgot where I was reading, out of the 22 starters, offense and defense,
Mhm.
I think 12 of them are gone. I can't remember if it's 10 or 12 that are gone. So that's almost
Mhm.
half of each facet.
Let's
So
go
yeah,
through him.
there's going to be a
Jahai
lot.
Ward. You think
Yeah,
he comes back?
yeah. If the price is right, first and foremost, and if Wink is here.
Mhm.
Do I think Wink is going to be back? Yes, but
I think
if
so.
he's being interviewed, there's always that possibility.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I have to say that, and that's where Ward, that's where I think he'll be back if Wink is here. If Wink is gone, I don't know. I really doubt it.
Yeah.
But it's all
Ward is
contingent
this
upon
guy.
Wink.
Yeah. Ward is
Yeah,
this guy. Ward is
yeah.
he's
How
kind
do
of
you
been the vocal leader of the defense. I mean,
exactly?
vocally, you know what I mean? So we all know Dexter Lawrence is the one holding it down on the field, but vocally it's been
And
Jahai
you
Ward, man.
saw
He
what
gets the
they did
guys.
to him. You
Yeah.
saw what they did to Dexter last night. They double teamed him pretty much all
Right.
game.
As you should. Make
Exactly.
Ojulari and Thibodeau and Leo Williams beat you. And that's
That's the
another
thing.
thing.
I was expecting Leo to step up, and Leo
He
did
has
not.
not. Right.
And that's a concern for me because the early part of the year he was dominating, and then after the injury, I get it. Is it because he just mentally couldn't handle it? But
Hmm.
again, there's going to be a lot of changes. I trust that they're going to bring in the right guys. They're going to do their due diligence. But getting back to your initial question about the positions and what went wrong, you hit it. They shut down our receivers. Um, defensively, they attacked Evan Neal, and everyone. Listen, I understand there's concerns about Evan Neal. I understand,
Yeah.
in terms of I was comparing to Thomas his first year. Yes, Thomas improved as the season went along, but Evan Neal, I see the talent that's there. I see it. It just really has to be coached up, and you
Remember,
also
he was hurt this year as well.
yes,
We have to take that into consideration.
it's also it's new for him, and
Hmm.
there's that a mental approach. I'm sorry, they're
Tudo, what's good,
what's up,
Tudo?
Tudo? How you, bro? Um, you have to take that into consideration, and we as fans sometimes we don't. We look at players as robots and these
Hmm.
superhuman beings, and look, you know, getting an injury, I'm telling you, I can tell you from experience, it is mentally draining
Right,
and
Brookins.
it strips at you. It really does. So now next year, if you see the same thing, then I question one: is it the coaching, or two: is it him? And then
Hmm.
it goes into, well, is he better at guard? Because now you give him some outside help. So but I'm expecting him to step up his game next year. Yes,
Hmm.
because I think we
Matthew
have.
French. First time me seeing you in my chat.
Mhm.
I do appreciate you coming by. If you could please smash that like button for your boy and Give me a sub, man. I appreciate you, man. And we read everybody's comments and we engage in everybody here.
Mm,
That's why it's called
that's
Giants
true.
Conversations. So the Eagles still have 2 first-round
Yeah.
picks this upcoming draft. There's a very high chance we're looking at a dynasty in the making. I agree. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and the Eagles are going to be a tough team to deal with moving forward, which is why I want us to combat with their building and the strengths of their team, which is their lines. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Jalen Hurts is not an all-world quarterback, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And their receivers can't catch if the line can't block. So we need to create a defensive line like we had in '07. We
Yes.
need that type of line to be able to deal with Philly. We can compete with them, and they have first round picks, but they got to hit on those first round picks too.
Hmm.
And for all we give credit Philly for, there have been some misses in there, so it's not a guarantee that whoever they draft is going to be a contributor. And they do have some Asian players that are and
Hmm.
they're not good at stopping the run either. We just didn't run the fucking ball because we got in a hole early and we had to pass. And Kafka, I don't like his game plan for that game. You can't go in the same with the same game plan as you had with Minnesota, wanting to come out, throwing the football. I mean, you got Saquon Barkley. Philadelphia's, if it's one weakness they have, it was their run defense. But
Hmm.
we didn't
Hmm.
attack that. So I'm not
Well,
scared of the Eagles, but
mm,
yeah, they will be good for a good while.
yes,
I agree with that.
I'm
Mhm.
expecting them to continue what they're doing. They're smart in the front office, just like we are
Right.
smart in our front office for a change. So
Mhm.
yes, they're going to do well. They having the 2 first round draft picks. It's whether they draft on it or trade and get
Right.
something of value. They're positioned very well. Like you said, they have aging players, but now having those picks and other opportunities, it's good for them to replace it. So
Mhm.
the dynasty, I will say it's going to be a high level of competition in within the NFC East.
We not
You
going
know,
anywhere,
no,
and we don't know what the Cowboys are going to do, and we don't know what Washington's going to do either.
no,
Washington's right, a team that's right there too. They just need a quarterback.
exactly. So,
So,
and that's why, as a football fan, I'm loving what I'm seeing from the NFC East. I'm
mhm.
loving it. I can't lie to you because that's what the NFL needs. Because when the NFC East is good, you can talk about Kansas City, you can talk about Mahomes, you can talk about Brady and all the top quarterbacks in the league. Let's be real. When the NFC East is balling, everyone watches. Everyone.
Mhm.
Because that is what you think about when you think about the NFL, and that's going back to years. The closest division would be the NFC North, with the Bears and the
The
Packers.
historic teams, yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, because you think about those big, and then everybody when they're good, everyone watches, and that's why I'm loving with what's happening with the NFC East. I love what Shane is doing. I trust, and I think he's going to definitely continue to build and put us in the right places, whether it's with draft picks or trades.
Mhm.
I'm not feeling that okay. If he makes a trade, I'm not overly concerned like I was with Gettleman. Is this guy
Yeah.
going to bust? Is
Mhm.
I'm trusting it and let it play out and see what it's going to be. Will he hit
Mhm.
on some? Yes. Will he miss on some? Yes.
Yeah, he
But
gonna miss some.
he's already shown me in one year he can go out there and take guys who are literally on the street, bring him in, let
Mhm.
Dable coach him up, and get something out of them to at least be a competitive team, as
Mhm.
opposed to the shit show we were last year. So
Tudo says, Kenny, personally, I give all the credit in the world to all New York Giants players and coaching staff for their efforts and hustle all
mhm,
the way. They fought hard and did their best and showed up with determination. I agree. I agree,
yeah,
Tudo. They did what they. I thought they could have had a little more effort in that game
yes,
last
yes.
night, to be honest with you. But all season, man, this team showed up, man, and they showed promise, man. Bookend says Tudo gonna smack a few extra birds at the link next year for this loss. Facts, man. Smack the shit out them dirty birds, man. Have to be able against the run. Trenches need to win. I agree, bookends. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, trench
And
warfare.
we have to get better with the trenches because that's where we lose, man. That's where we lose every Look at the games we played against Philly and Dallas. Those are the most games that Daniel Jones has been pressured in those
Hmm.
4 games. And I can't really think of other game outside of those 4 where he's been pressured that
Hold
much.
on. No,
Um,
no, no. Hold on. Hold on. I'm in.
Max says that's exactly how I feel. The Eagles do have many weaknesses, but defending the run is definitely one of them. He needed to hit them with everything we had. We made it too easy, right? Made it too easy for them, and that's what I didn't like. You know what I mean? Kenny, coach, Giants got all the good players and coaching staff and don't need to break any bank to rebuild their roster. All they need is to upgrade their system, smarter schemes, better training. Yeah. Um, we do need to coach up some of these guys on this team. The number one guy that needs to be coached up is Evan Neal. Because look, man, we need Evan Neal to be good. Um, we cannot have him be a bust, because we need to fix this. We need to make sure that we can compete with the lines, and the right tackle is one of the main things. You know what I'm saying with the interior. Andrew Thomas is solid. Ben Bredesen, I believe, is solid. Um, but from center to right, we need to upgrade. We need to get better at right guard. I don't think Lewinsky is all that. Feliciano, we know what he is, Evan Neal has to be better. And that, to those point, that's on the coaches to get him where he needs to be. But they've been good. They've been good. They've been solid, man, this whole year. Will you guys take Landon Collins back? Yeah, on like a vet minimum deal. I'm not paying that guy a bunch of money. He's okay. He's a good player. He's a bit player though. And he's not the answer at linebacker. So don't get it twisted. But
Sorry.
you good, coach. I'll take Landon Collins back on like a vet minimum deal for depth. I'm not paying him a contract. If somebody's gonna go out there and pay Landon Collins, see you later, buddy. Because I'm not with just the bringing the players back. These guys that people want to bring back is like we want some of these guys gone. A lot of people wanted Landon Collins gone when he was a free agent back when Gettleman was here, and now we want him. We want him back, and he's played okay. But what's Landon Collins going to give you at this point, man? We need more than a one trick pony. He's just a run guy, a run stopper. Um, Eagles fans got nothing on me. That's right. Talk your shit, Blue City. Talk your shit, Almighty. Mills good on the run block. He needs to work on pass blocking. Yeah. Um.
He needs to
It,
work on also the angles sometimes,
mhm,
exploding, taking the right angles, knowing when to take, whether it's a 45 lateral or just a kick step going straight back, adjusting. Because I think he worries about getting beat too much to the inside, which is
mhm,
why he gives up the outside loop. So
mhm. I seen some. I seen. I think Andrew Thomas wasn't he getting beat inside last season? If I'm, I
occasionally,
mean, on
he,
the season
yeah,
before
he
that,
got
the year that he struggled, it was because he was getting beat
getting beat
inside, right?
inside, yes,
Right. Okay.
and the
So Neil has
adjustment.
the opposite problem.
Yes,
Okay.
he's
He's
worried
getting
about
beat
getting beat to the outside and
outside.
his outside recovery. I mean, remember he has to understand he's bigger than most guys, and he has those
Mm-hmm.
long arms. Do I think he probably needs to lose a little bit of weight to get his quickness? Yes,
Mm-hmm.
because I do think he's playing around 345, 350.
He's a big
So
guy.
if you get him down to about 330, that's also going to help him. That's why, I'm not, oh, he sucks
Facts
and
too,
all
though.
this and that. Look, he are you, baby? Are you? Um,
Mm-hmm.
what he needs to do is if he can lose some of that weight, just a little bit, I get it. He's gonna plus he's going to be in a full year in their weight development program. So it's gonna change. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why I'm like, okay, he if you work with him, you develop him, he's not bad. He's a rookie.
Yeah,
I mean, some rookies develop faster than others. Now, do I want to see progression next year? Yes, I swear. Better not see OBJ back with the Giants offense. Now,
I
I will
don't.
say this: if he fits and he's affordable, okay. I mean, do I want to see him here? I mean, I'm not against it, and I'm not for it. It's whatever.
OBJ is gonna get a contract. And what we're gonna do is You guys pull up Tuesday. Most of you guys always do. And we're gonna go through the free agent list.
Mhm.
Because once you guys look at this free agent class, then you're gonna
Mhm.
realize that we need to build through the draft and we need to make some key trades. I think this is the year to trade.
Exactly.
This is the year to
Exactly.
trade, to get it, to make a trade, because it the free agent, it just ain't there, man. Darius Slayton is probably a top 5 wide receiver on the free agency
Mhm.
this so if you guys feel how you feel about him, then you know what else is out there. And as far as OBJ, I would bring back on the cheap, but he ain't going to be cheap because of what I just said, because he's going to probably be the number one target from all the rest of the teams that need wide receivers. We ain't the only team, y'all. You know, Chicago needs wide receivers, Green Bay, like some of these other teams, they need receivers. So these guys are going to be in high demand. And I don't see Joe Shane just from his first year as a full-time GM, I don't see him sweating or getting overpaying somebody if he doesn't have to. We have 11 picks, we got 50 million. Look for some of these underrated signings like you were saying earlier, coach.
Mhm.
These guys like Hodgins, some of these guys, Jared, some of these guys that they're able to get off of the cheap.
Mhm.
Think about that, but think about guys that they can actually, that guys that are actually free. You see what I'm saying? They're
Mhm.
going to shop smart.
Mhm.
So think about some of the underrated guys, but that got a little more upside. Those are the
Exactly.
guys I would want to target. Guys that are
Yeah.
young with upside that you can bring in
Exactly.
your system and you can coach up, and they probably wasn't getting opportunity at the spot they're at now, and you can give them a little bit of money, come here, coach them up, and be solid. We don't need a roster full of first round draft picks, y'all.
Mm-mm.
We just need guys that can come in here and know their role and that we can coach up. He says, I wouldn't mind seeing Quan Alexander. How you feel about him, coach?
Hmm. It's intriguing. I'd have to really sit down and think, and then really dissect this film a little bit more. It's an interesting. I mean, interesting point by Almighty. I mean, I never thought about it. So, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to look at his film. Let me make a note of that.
Mm-hmm. Boogan says that's why we shouldn't have been running. That's why we should have been running the damn ball. Considering our pass pro isn't very good, bad matchup to rely on pass in this game. Yes, I agree. Um, Kafka, for all we've given him credit for, man, he's made some mistakes, man, and he has to grow. That's
Hmm.
why I do not think he's ready for a head coaching job. And teams are going to see that he'll be back. Him and Wink will be back, and to
Hmm.
be honest, that's what we need. We need these guys to have another year in the system so they can grow. You see how they grew towards the end of this year. Now imagine that with a whole off season with the same coaches, with the same continuity, hopefully the same quarterback, hopefully some of the same pieces on defense, and let's just grow. Yeah, we're gonna lose some guys. We guys are gonna be coming out, even some coaches. You got to think about positional coaches too. So we're gonna lose some guys, but if we can keep the main guys in place, that's going to do wonders for this team. Look at Philly. You guys talk about
Hmm.
Philly, man. They had the same thing. They kept the team they had, and they went out and got AJ Brown. They went out and traded for what's the guy, the edge rusher, um
Oh,
from Chicago.
um, no, not Hassan
Not
Reddick. Is that
Hassan Reddick, the other guy, the guy from Chicago. Anyway, I can't think his name right now. The
okay?
edge rusher. But they traded for him, and that's what they
Okay.
did, man. That's what they did. And so we need to do the same thing, build on what we got. Coach Ed, speaking of experience, continuity and consistency is priceless. All Giants
Hmm.
players and coaches have learned about each other in system. They need to work hand in hand, match up their games as a unit. Right. Match up their games as a unit, man. Stay
Hmm.
consistent. Stay the course, man. There's no need to blow this thing up at all, man. Just build on it. Um, there's some good linebackers, and I agree. And that's what I would target, Almighty. I'm glad you said that. Linebacker would be my target in free agency. Um,
Robert Quinn. That's who you're talking about.
Robert Quinn, that's his name, Robert Quinn. So, um, yeah, and to Bookend's point, they had 70 sacks. You know, I remember one year the Giants won the Super Bowl. We had 60 or 60 plus.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's a D line, man. That's a D line. You can get
Hmm.
after the quarterback like that. You're going to be a hard team to beat, and you're going to beat most teams, regardless of what your quarterback look like. When you can get 70 sacks,
Hmm.
I
And you
mean,
have four guys in double digits. Yeah.
mhm. And you can rush with four. That's the problem with the Giants. We can't get pressure with four guys.
Well,
We have to
again,
blitz.
but that's it's not only that. That's Wink. Yes, he
Mhm,
adjusted, but that's not who he is. He is a blitzing. He is a
mhm,
blitzing coach. I get it.
mhm,
Now does he have to tone back a little bit? But you know, he's good with the exotic. Like a lot of his blitzes weren't as exotic as we would have thought. But I also think that's a matter of the personnel. I mean, he doesn't have the personnel to
And
run his.
like you always say, coach, it's a matter of down and distance. When you got a
Yes,
team running the football on you, you can't unleash your pass rushes because you don't have those third and longs, pause, to be able to do that. You need to
exactly,
get teams behind the sticks in order to be aggressive with your pass rush. You know, you can't
exactly.
do that, man, if you got third and short all the damn time.
What
Um,
do you mean, Tudo? You need to implement a better system and scheme. So are you
System
saying get rid
adjustment,
of the
better
whole
strength.
offense and defensive scheme that we're running now? It says
Yeah,
makes
I
make
don't I don't I
tweak.
don't I don't agree with that per se too though. I think Wink does have to make some adjustments. So does
Better
Kafka, but
strengthening and
their
conditioning.
their
Yes.
yeah, their scheme, I don't necessarily think it's their scheme. I just think it's them making some adjustments and getting
Yes.
some better personnel. So
See, exactly.
that's
You
what I
said the
think.
same thing. Make some tweaking and
Hmm.
adjustments. Yes, that
Hmm.
you have to do. The strength and conditioning. Yes, just like I was talking about Neil. Once he gets in their weight room, they really work with him. You know,
Hmm.
because my father's one of the best pro rugby in the world. Technically, breaking out, working
Yeah,
tackles.
man. And another thing too that the Giants need to work on is their special teams unit.
Yeah,
They got to get better with the special teams unit. And
I
that's
wonder if whatchamacallit is state going to be here as the coach, as the special team
McGahee.
coach. Yeah, I wonder if he's still going to be here.
He's been
I
here a
mean,
while. He's been here through a
yeah,
couple
no,
coaching staffs. So,
yeah, but see, I think that that was something that might have been, negotiated there. I'd say,
mhm,
keep him around, because he is loved and appreciated within the organization. I get it,
mhm,
but they didn't. I've always heard it every year, except for what, 1 year. It's always a problem. We underperform there. I
mhm.
mean, our punting has been atrocious,
Yeah,
and
I'm
why you
I'm done
cannot
with the
get this
Scottish
guy.
Hammer. I'm done with
Why
him,
you
Coach.
cannot get this guy to directional punt. I've coached a guy who, one of his strengths was getting the ball high up and deep down the middle. And I worked with him on adjusting. And I don't understand when, if I'm not at their level, why you can't get these guys to do that.
Mhm,
That baffles me. And with this guy, why are you not getting? What are you doing? There's coverage schemes. The things that you're doing. You know, kickoff. I'm sorry. I'm a strong proponent. If your kicker can put the ball in the back of the end zone every damn time, just put it back there.
right.
Just put it back there. Let them start at the 25. You reduce the risk of injuries and all that stuff. Only if you get a penalty and you're kicking from the 50. All right, pop it up. Maybe you get them in between about a 15 because you're going to be
Let
able
me
to get down
ask
to
you
the three.
something, Coach.
Yeah.
Now, given what given what we seen from Jamie Gillen, what's good, Jeffy, man?
What's up, bro?
Welcome to the show, my bro.
What's up, guys?
But given what we seen
Hmm.
from Graham Gano, as far as like you said, the kicking, getting the kick back into the back of the
Hmm.
end zone, why wouldn't they let the guy with the stronger leg do that? Do those kickoffs, which would
Because
be
so
the
just
punter,
because
right?
but he may not be a field goal kicker. It's a different technique when you're kicking and punting.
Right.
Just think about it.
I know.
You're
I do.
punting, you're dropping the ball, it's coming down, you're getting it, you're taking your leg, and he may not be
But he
able
would be
to.
the backup guy to do that if
Yes,
so
but
he
see,
should be able to do it. And if he's got the
I'm not
stronger
saying
leg, yeah.
just because he has a strong leg on the punt, he may not because it's a different technique for doing field
Mhm.
goals. That's what I'm getting
Okay.
at.
Okay.
So it's different because think about it. As a punt, you're dropping the ball and you're kicking it straight ahead and you're kicking your leg up.
Mhm.
Soccer style, you're coming at an angle and you're kicking with the inside of your foot as
Mhm.
opposed to here, and your leg motion. It's not coming from straight up here. It's coming sideways
Sad.
at some
Mhm.
point. So it's different.
Okay.
It's a different
Okay.
technique. Just because he has a booming punting leg,
Mhm.
he
Yeah.
may not. Ideally, yes. I've had a situation where I had a punter who had a he could kick off and he would put the ball, well, not into the end zone, but deep down the field, versus
Mhm.
a regular field goal kicker who would only get the ball to about the 20, between the 25 and the 20. So yes,
Mhm.
that I would do if he could do it. If he can't, then I'm just going with the field goal kicker. I just have to do that, and then you work on in the field goal kicker, work on directional because that takes away most of the field if you can. So
Who is Bradley Pinion? I don't know who that is. If you can give us a little bit of background on who that is, I'm sure we could look him up and talk about it. But yeah, we do need to get better with special teams. But before I keep going, man, Jeff, man, what's good, bro? You there, man? What's good, man? How you feeling, man, this morning, man? After you had a little bit of time to stew on that that disaster or whatever you want to call it.
Well, I mean, I just came from the Eagles fan celebration
yeah,
because I want to
Mm.
go over there and you know tell them congratulations, man up, and say that you guys were the better team. So
yeah.
they're
I tell them they
obviously
the better team. I ain't congratulating them on shit. Fuck them.
well. I'm gonna
Word up.
congratulate them. That's
No,
just how I'm just gonna do. I'm gonna do
Yeah,
that. But
that's cool.
I
You could do
mean,
it. You could do it for all of us because I ain't gonna do it.
no, that's fine. I understand.
Goddamn
But
guys, they're so scummy, man. You know what I'm saying? Like win with some class, man. Win with some class, man. Those the way they won, the way they printed and even acting like they was gonna go for it late in the game. Man, that's a
yeah, but
scumbag
do you think we would
organization,
have? Do
bro.
you think we would have not done it too? It is a divisional
Nah,
rivalry
nah. I
thing.
don't think we would have. I don't think the Giants roll like that for real.
all right.
But
Pinion. He was drafted in 2015. He played for the 49ers, the Buccaneers, and this year he was with the Falcons. His average is 43.9. Longest punt is 73. Um, inside the 20, he's put it 196 times out of
Mm,
564 punts. So
mm.
he played at
Okay.
Clemson. So I'm going to do
Okay.
some research. I'll do some more research on him. I mean, and see.
We gotta get a guy, man. We gotta get a guy. How would you guys feel about? And I know this is not a popular take, but and I'm not a component for this, but how would you guys feel about actually drafting a punter?
Yeah, I don't have a problem if you're doing it late in the rounds. I mean, if you're
It's
talking
got to
about
be late. Yeah, I'm not doing
fifth
what
going down,
Baltimore
yeah,
did. Yeah,
no.
not taking that in the
The only
third
way I take
round.
a puncher that high is if he's just that dynamic. If you're talking about he's going to be the quality of a Ray guy, I'm sorry that's a Pro Bowl. You only have one punter in
Hmm.
the Pro Bowl in the Hall of Fame. I mean, sorry, and that's
If he
Ray
can
Guy.
do what we talked about, you know what I'm saying. If he
Yes,
can be a weapon, like you said, kickoffs, pinning people
exactly.
deep in the five, within the 10-yard line.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'd spend a. I wouldn't go higher than a fifth.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I mean,
You know what I mean?
I get it. I get it. You know, me, I'm kind of the same way. Fifth round pick on back.
Hmm.
That's any kicker. So, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
but I mean, if there is that one kicker who's just that, as I say, a generational talent, and you could probably have him for 15 years, okay.
Hmm.
But now that's also if you are chasing that championship, then you can
Hmm.
afford to do it. Otherwise, no, I'm not going to do that wasted draft pick on that when I still have a roster that I have to fill out and get some talent there. So,
Hmm.
and
um,
that's where I was gonna start out with just talking about the game.
mhm.
I'm gonna be honest. I had a nice piece of humble pie this morning because maybe I wasn't talking are trash talking as much, but I said some things too, and I sat here and I took my lumps because
Mm-hmm.
the Eagles are 1,000% clear as day, are a much better football team, and especially in the trenches. We got absolutely destroyed in the trenches on both sides. The offensive line could not protect us three from rushing the passer against if we were playing with the Eagles with those guys, we would have probably gotten home to Daniel Jones. Evan Neal, I'm glad you said what you said about Evan Neal last night, Coach. Evan Neal needs to have somebody take him in the offseason and teach him how to work on his technique, his foot placement, his handwork, everything, because he looked lost at right tackle last night. He looked like a guy that didn't even know what the hell he was doing. Like I can't even blame the injuries because the right tackle on the Eagles, he was playing with a torn groin, and he's out there playing as well as he did. So I can't blame injuries with Evan Neal. The guy needs his confidence back. He needs to be coached up. The interior of the offensive line, I'm not saying Azudu and McKeithen are the answers. These are rookies. They're coming off injuries. We need help in the interior of the offensive line. The only guy I trust in that O-line 100% in the next season is Andrew Thomas.
Thomas, yeah.
Everybody else has got to earn my respect. Now, on the defensive line, we need depth. We so badly need depth, especially at that defensive tackle position. And two of the biggest injuries that hurt this team was DJ Davidson and Nick Williams. When they went down with season-ending injuries, we lacked depth, and we pretty much ran Dex and Leo out of gas. Dex got double-teamed a lot. The Eagles did the smart thing. They took out Dex with double teams, and then they tried to go one-on-one. Ojulari, I would look to try to get another pass rusher too, like you said. I would, because I don't trust Ojulari to stay on the football field.
Right.
So at this point, he can be a guy that can try to, he'll probably be a starter next year, but he better be healthy and play well next year, or he's going to be on the chopping block. The linebackers, I want them all gone. I don't care who it is. Beavers, I'm not putting my trust in Beavers coming back from an ACL.
Thank you, Jeffy.
I'm not doing it.
And
I'm not doing it with McFadden either. We need legit linebackers. Jalen Smith, I don't give a crap if he had 14 tackles last night. He sucked.
Get his ass the fuck out of here.
I mean, Jared Davis, I'm not going to kill the dude completely because he's only been on the team for a couple of weeks, but this dude is not the answer. Landon Collins did not even get a defensive snap. Yeah, Landon Collins did not even get a defensive snap. And on the safety position, I'm flip-flopping what I said. I would rather have McKinney than Love. Love played like garbage yesterday. And I like Julian Love a lot, but if it came down between the two of them, I'm taking McKinney over Love.
We got to talk about that, Jeff.
He's just a better player.
And the reason we got to talk the reason we got to talk about that, because me and you both set up here and said that we would prefer Julian Love over McKinney.
Yeah. And McKinney wasn't great either. I'm not going to say McKinney was not great last night either. He was not good. Oh, but Love was horrendous.
Love has been horrible these past coming down the stretch, man. That's disappointing from your captain. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at Julian Love, man, as a guy that, look, if you talking about free agency, man, we talking about money and how we going to use this money that we got. I'm paying a linebacker over Julian Love. If I can get somebody like Tremaine Edmonds or one of these other guys shake loose, I'm paying that guy over. Look, Dane Belton makes Julian Love expendable. We said that. He makes Xavier McKinney expendable, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is McKinney's already under contract. Yeah. So since
we're going to have to worry about signing him next year too, because he's a free agent after next season. So he's going to be coming off the books as well.
Right. But Julian Love is a free agent now. And if it comes down to it, I'm not putting a bag. I'm not giving Julian Love a bag, man. No, I'm not, man. Because he has been very disappointing.
And I'll be honest too. I at this point, it's the off season now, so we can talk about the off season in bookends. I get he's a rookie, but the difference between him and Andrew Thomas during the rookie years is Andrew Thomas got better during his rookie season. He got gradually better. Neal got worse. His confidence was shot. His play was all over the place. This kid has got to go into the offseason and really work on all his footwork. Barkley, and I'm going to get to Barkley and Jones because those guys, I know we're going to franchise Barkley most likely, and Jones.
What's good, money. Coach Dante, man? Appreciate you coming in, man. Nice. What's good, King Jers? What's good, man? Appreciate y'all, man.
But Jones' contract might have fallen a little bit, but they're going to get paid. But both those guys are going to be paid, and we talked about this before. With the amount of holes we have on this team, Are we going to be willing to pay a lot of money to the quarterback and the running back position to lock that all up for a ton of money? No matter what we get with TV rights deals and all that stuff, it's a lot of money you're locking up in the quarterback and the running back position where we got a lot of depth holes. We have no linebackers. I'm gonna get to the wide receivers in a second because that position, in my opinion, needs to be eviscerated completely. The tight end position is
I don't know about Yannick Ngakwe.
No, I don't want Yannick.
He's kind of been bouncing around a lot. And when a guy bounces around like that, it's something about him that I don't like that.
But the cornerback position too. I'm gonna get to the cornerback before I get to the wideouts and the tight ends. The cornerback position. Don't you dare put your faith in Aaron Robinson next year to come back. That dude has been an injury-prone player for 2 years, and when he's played, he's not been that good.
Robinson, Darius Williams, and Ellison Smith.
I said, the rotational
who is Ellison Smith?
Who are all three of those guys? Who are all three of them? What have they done? They're rotational players at best.
I'm taking Timon Fox over Ellison Smith.
Me too.
I mean, let's be real. Timon at least has been there. He's young. He's developing, so I would take him. So, and everyone you're talking about, like you said, Jeff, even Davis, I think the linebacker, those guys
Davis.
are
Jared Davis,
yeah, they're depth pieces. That's really what they are.
Mm-hmm.
They're not key every down starters. They can come in, they can give you something. If they have to start for a game or two. Okay, you can live with that and get whatever you can out of them. But for the whole season, no, Davis is a thumper. I mean, he definitely is a thumper. He's aggressive. He's physical. There's some things.
I agree, Coach Dante.
So, there's certain things you can do with him. You're right in terms of the receivers. The quarterback.
Well, I'm gonna get to them in a second because I got a lot to say about the receiving position and the tight end too.
I do think we probably do need another tight end. You can probably put Bellinger. You can probably move Bellinger to the number 2 tight end if you can get a good quality number 1. So and again, it depends on what you're doing and what you're doing through free agency as well as the draft. So, but
Jesse
go ahead,
Bates,
what you were
saying. That do anything for y'all? Jesse
No,
Bates?
I don't. He's a safety. We already have a bunch of safeties. I don't want another safety. We got McKinney. If McKinney plays well and stays healthy, I'd rather pay him than pay another safety. I'm not putting my resources in another safety when we got 2 safeties on our team that are free agents back to back.
You still have Pinnock too. So
you got Dane Belton
and Belton. We don't need a safety. No,
I like Belton. I like Belton's upside. I like Belton. I do think that the Giants have to get better at the cornerback spot, but I'm not sweating the safeties. Not right now.
But I'm gonna get to the wide receivers now. And NYG, I know Slayton is your guy. He has to go. He's gone.
I said that. Yeah,
he's gone.
Look, I'm a Giants fan. I don't.
No, I am too.
You see what I'm saying? The guy hasn't played well. He's not a fit. He's gone.
He's gone.
My thing is with Slayton was we needed him this season, and I was proven right. Without Slayton, we're not making the playoffs.
Slayton played well this year. I will give him credit.
His time's up. Yeah.
Slayton played well this year. I agree. He actually had a very underrated good season. He had about over 700 yards. So kudos to Slayton. But the fact of the matter is, we are not paying Slayton.
And he's going to get paid. Yeah, somebody's going to pay him a contract.
And you know what? I don't want Richie James either. I'm sorry. He was a nice slot receiver, but you got Wan'Dale Robinson, and they're probably going to, maybe go for another player somewhere in the draft. You can
find a slot guy.
Exactly. We already have a slot guy when he comes back from injury. Hopefully, if he gets healthy.
But yeah, you're going to need somebody.
We need boundary guys. We need boundary starting outside receivers. What did Philadelphia, Dallas, and Washington have that we don't have? 2 explosive boundary wide receivers. And our lines just need a lot more depth and help in the interior on the offensive line. Our wide receiver position is pathetic. Let's just be real. Compared to what the division has, it's bad. And we got it pretty much happened where they could take their entire defense and put up against Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones in the running game because they did not respect our wide receivers. Like we were saying for weeks, we got our false hope by how Isaiah Hodgins, Richie James, and Darius Slayton were playing against lesser competition against Minnesota. For great of its Minnesota win is, Minnesota's defense is horrendous. And Philadelphia's defense is light years better than Minnesota, and it showed because Darius Slayton, Richie James dropping passes all over the place. Darius Slayton couldn't get open. He had that bad play on that Daniel Jones interception.
They focused on Hodgins
and Hodgins
King
too.
Jones's point. We had
exactly. They took him out of the game.
Me and Coach was just talking earlier about how these receivers, Daniel Jones, they want to see the receivers that can run good routes, that know how to play off script when the play breaks down. That was the rapport that Daniel Jones was developing was Isaiah Hodgins. Richie James and Darius Slayton cannot do that. They do not run good routes. Their routes aren't crisp enough, and they do not come back to the football or know how to play with their quarterback as far as finding the spot in zones and playing off script. The play breaks down. You got to know what your quarterback is doing. You know what I'm saying? And those guys aren't good at that. Isaiah Hodgins is, but once you took him out the game and put it on the rest of those, which was smart by Philadelphia. They're not a dumb team. I give them credit for that. And let them other guys beat you. Let James and Slayton, because they can't consistently.
Exactly.
They'll get a play here and there, but
that's why I'm saying we need boundary receivers, because this has been one of the if you want to keep Barkley and Jones long term, you need to get legit outside. We do need one cornerback, but we need boundary.
We got Adoree Jackson. He can hold up for one more season.
We need a slot guy too.
But we need another guy, yeah.
We need a slot. We need two cornerbacks, a slot and an outside. But we need wide receiver.
Slot?
Well, I mean, is Flock going to be an outside, or is he going to be a bound? Is he going to be a slot?
I don't think drafted him for the slot. Yeah.
Okay, so then Darnay can be a bench guy, or
he can get the fuck out of here. Yeah, but I'm done with him.
I'm just gonna finish up quickly with the wide receiver position. Because
go ahead.
This is the thing, because I look at the Eagles. Why was the Eagles' offense so explosive? Because we had to respect and worry about Devontae Smith and AJ Brown and even Dallas Goedert. So they could have, we had to fall back in our coverage to worry about those guys when they had that big pass play to Devontae Smith over the middle of the field. And then we had to push our defense back. And what did they do? They ran that football down our gullet. We couldn't do that because we don't have wide receivers and even a legit tight end to threaten opposing teams. We have not had explosive playmakers on the outside. We had to rely on, we all love him, Sterling Shepard, a 2 or 3 at best. Slayton, 3 right now at best. We've had to rely on these guys as our top guys for years. Since who walked out of the building in 2018, we have not had a legit explosive wide receiver on this team. We need to get legit guys on the outside that will command fear into defenses and give Daniel Jones somebody that every time on second and third downs, he can look at that way and be like, so-and-so is always going to be open. He's going to be right there. I'm going to get him the ball, and it's going to make defenses get away and back off of our running game. That's how we can beat them with that type of offense, with our run offense. We need explosive wide receivers in the worst way, and I'm not even talking about the slot. We've had too many slot guys. We need outside, legit, game-breaking, boundary wide receivers that will get the attention of the defense, like an A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith, like a CeeDee Lamb or a Michael Gallup, like a Terry McLaurin or Jahan Dotson. That's what we need, and that is what's going to take the offense also to the next level, as well as interior offensive line help. And whoever it is, get Evan Neal in the offseason, I don't care who it is, and work on this kid's confidence, work on this kid's footwork, his technique, his hand placement, everything. Stop having him fall on the ground every time he tries to block, and get this kid's head back on before we, God forbid, have another Eric Flowers on our hands at the right tackle position.
I don't think that's going to happen.
No, I know, but you never know.
Let's address some questions about the wide receiver. Let's just go through some of these. We got some good stuff in the chat, man. Y'all hit that like button, man. I appreciate y'all pulling up. I really do, man. I always appreciate a good conversation, man, especially after a loss. I'm glad you guys are level-headed and you're not talking about out of your ass like some of these guys on Twitter, man. So shout out to my chat, man. Shout out to my 2 guys on the panel. Y'all already know how we do. But let's get into this conversation about these wide receivers. I'm glad you brought that up, Jeff.
You're welcome.
Let's start with Wan'Dale Robinson. Blue City says, wide receiver Wan'Dale Robinson, what's your guy expectations of him for next season? Wan'Dale is coming off of, the ACL?
ACL.
So myself, given where when he got hurt, you're probably looking at mid-season for Wan'Dale to get back. So and coming back from an ACL, your first year, we seen this with Saquon Barkley, we seen with
Hmm.
Odell Beckham Jr. You're not going to be the same. So my expectation for Wan'Dale Robinson next season actually is pretty low. I don't
Mm-hmm.
expect to see much from him, to be honest
Mm-hmm.
with you. Blue City says, "Do you think we lose Mike Kafka?" No, I don't think we lose Mike Kafka. Mike Kafka still has to grow as an offensive coordinator, so he damn sure ain't ready to take over a team, a
No.
head coach. More better chance that we lose Wink Martindale because he is been around for a minute, and has had some opportunities and some interviews to be a head coach. So I think there's a higher chance we lose him than Mike Kafka, to me. And Jerry says, would you go in free agency for wide receivers? I would not.
No,
I
For
would. I
three.
would.
it's
I
not.
would look. I would look to the draft, and I would look to make a strategic trade.
Mm-hmm.
Now, throw a couple names out there. We talked about these guys. T. Higgins is
Hmm.
could be an option. We've heard they want to move off of Hopkins in Arizona. Um,
Hmm.
Pittsburgh and what's the guy's name?
Deontay Johnson.
Deontay Johnson, they might be looking to move off. So some of these guys, you might want to think about some of the guys that are on other teams right now. And I know this is not the normal approach, but this is what they do. What Joe Shane has done um, with Buffalo. Now, there's some people that think that they're going to move off of Daniel Jones. If they do that, which I don't think so,
Hmm.
then trading for a wide receiver might not make much sense at that point. So that's another thing to monitor. But the wide receiver free agency class, King Jers, it just ain't good, bro. Darius Slayton's like one of the top guys. Alan Lazard, Miko Hardman, Odell Beckham Jr. These are guys you're gonna be looking at, man. From the wide
Mm-hmm.
receiver standpoint, Jarvis Landry, guys like that. And I'm not. I don't want none of that. Yeah. Um, Market is trash. He said it. Now, this Jalen Ramsey rumor, what y'all think about this? Jalen Ramsey, man. Would you would you be interested in trading for Jalen Ramsey?
No.
Um,
No.
I don't think he
Absolutely
fits.
not. No.
I think
I
so
don't think
either.
he fits.
No.
So it doesn't make sense to trade for him. Why? Just because he has a name? Does he fit the system? And if he does, then fine. What is it going to cost you? But I don't think he fits the system, and I think he's going to be too costly. So no, uh, I just can't see him. He's more of a zone type of a. To me, he's better in zone. Let me say it that way. He can play man for man, but I think he's better. Like I said, in a zone scheme concept. So
Mm. So now that we have talked about the wide receiver position, what would be your targets for this first round of the draft? We know where the Giants are picking. They're picking 26th. They're actually going to have the 25th selection because
yeah,
Miami
because
forfeited
Miami.
their first
Yeah.
round pick, but we're actually picking 26, but we're going to have the 25th selection. Um, what would be the target? Do you think we should target a wide receiver round one or maybe two or three or even later on in the draft? I'll
I,
get you guys' opinion and then I'll say what I think.
I think that
Yeah.
honestly, with the wide receiver position, I would go in around the second or third round because I think that what I honestly love to do, I want an inside linebacker in round one because I'm so tired of watching these, you know,
Carl
rotational
Banks.
guys
That's the
mid.
last one that we took round one.
Exactly.
Carl
Not
Banks.
exactly.
That
I
was
would rather
years
get
ago.
an impact. We need so badly an impact linebacker in the middle of our defense that can go out there and when we have running backs trying to come up the middle, or when you have a linebacker you want to blitz up the middle, make the surefire tackle, pretty much control the middle of that game, command the defensive snaps, command the defense overall, get everybody in place. We need a linebacker like that we have not had since Antonio Pierce in our first Super Bowl run. We need a real, legit, big time impact linebacker. And I would really love to get a linebacker in the first round. If it's not that, I mean, you could maybe look for an interior offensive lineman in the first round, like a guard, or what I would preferably have, like Coach, you said a million times, a center, because we need a
Mhm.
legit center on this team. Feliciano, He should be gone after the season unless you want to bring him back as a depth piece. We
Right,
need
Joe's need a
we
center
do
guard
need
and
guard
inside
help because
linebacker.
I am not putting my faith in Azudu and McKeithen after coming off injuries, and these kids we don't even know what they are, and they're mid-round picks. You cannot put a whole lot of faith in these kids. I like Bredesen. I think he should get an opportunity to start, but I would not be opposed if they have some more competition. Glowinski, I think he's going to be a starter because we can't get out of that contract this year,
Hmm.
so he'll be there at right guard. It's really like, the center position, left guard, and then also maybe we could go after a cornerback. I'm sort of in the middle of what the Giants are going to do with that outside cornerback position opposite of Adoree. If they're going to go into like the free agent market, look for like a lower mid to low tier cornerback and free agency, or if we're going to go for maybe like a first or second round pick at the cornerback spot so we can get a young guy we could develop on the outside, because I don't believe they're going to trust Aaron Robinson coming off 2 years of injury. Moreau is a nice depth guy, but that's pretty much what he is. Don't tell us we're Darius Williams. Holmes he's a slot guy and he's not good. Flott, I think,
Hmm.
is going to play the slot. We do need a legit outside cornerback. In terms of wide receiver, we already know the names. We've all said it, who we'd like to
Yeah.
see. But I would go
Hmm.
more second and third round because at least what I've heard, and it's early preliminary, they think that maybe only there's one wide receiver that might go in the first round this draft, and there could be a lot of them going in the second and third.
Wow.
But as we know, we have to get to the combine. We have to
Yeah.
get to like the individual workouts and all that kind of stuff, and these players will start rising. But I
Hmm.
mean, I'd rather take my chances and honestly getting like going for a trade for a veteran, established wide receiver that's still young enough in the trade market than take my chances with a first round wide receiver. But yeah, I
Um.
would go for
coup-
linebacker first.
Couple questions, and then I'm gonna let Coach say his
Okay.
spill. Put Gates back at center. I want Gates to be my depth piece, my guy off the bench for the
Mm-hmm.
center and the guard spot. I do not want Nick Gates starting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want Nick Gates starting. I don't. First of all, he has the injury history, and then second of all, he's still getting back, and I don't. I just don't think he is. I think he's an average player. And I think we can upgrade. Definitely. Um, Buffalo's linebacker. Yeah, we talked about Tremaine Edmonds. That we all agree he should be a target. If he gets away from Buffalo. Um, Boston Scott. Well, we shut down the run game. We shut down Boston Scott. He can't be Deshaun Jackson 2.0 if we get some beef up there to stop them from running those little outside where he gets all slippery and yeah, and I don't like him either. Boston Scott is one of the pains in the Giants thorn. Trenton Simpson.
That's a guy I was thinking of from Clemson.
Linebacker,
Yeah,
linebacker from
linebacker.
Clemson.
Okay, so that's a target. That's a name. We can keep an eye on. But what's your thoughts, Coach?
In
What
terms of
we
wide
should target?
receivers,
Yeah,
okay, I
we can
think
talk about the wide
you can
receivers
get.
too.
Yeah, you said target the wide receivers in the
Hmm.
first round.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think well, first of all, it's how the draft plays out
Hmm.
ahead of us. Do I think some wide receivers are going to get bumped down? Yes, because people are going to push the quarterbacks up, and anytime the
Hmm.
quarterbacks go higher, certain positions are dropped down or fall down, whatever. They you can get them later in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
The receivers, you can get receivers in the second, third, fourth round, and I'm talking about good quality receivers, so that you can develop and build into being a boundary receiver, like Jeff is talking about,
Hmm.
and who could probably end up being a number one receiver. I mean, you can get a Rice in the second round, and he can develop into your number one. You can look at Xavier Hutchinson from Iowa State, Jonathan Mingo from Ole Miss. I
Hmm.
mean, these are guys that can definitely be boundaries. You know, I talk about A.T. Perry all the time. You know, Jeff
Hmm.
talks about the two receivers from Maryland. You know,
What about this guy, Nick Jigba? No,
he's more of a
it's
slot
a
for
slot
me.
guy. Yeah, that's what I
And
thought.
don't forget, he's coming off of a serious knee injury.
Mm-hmm.
I think he
Mm.
also had the ACL too. So I thought it was bad for him to come out, but hey, he has talent. Somebody's going to take him. I'm not looking for Njigba. I'm not looking at Hyatt. I
I
would
want
put Cedric
Tillman.
Tillman, exactly, Cedric Tillman over Hyatt, because like you're talking about, they're outside receivers. You have Robinson that you can develop. Look, I know you guys talked about what's his name, because Robinson is there, but Robinson's only going to be half the season. You can bring him back to stay to fill the role, and he drops down to a fifth receiver on your depth chart. So it's not like you really have to get rid of him, unless he wants that serious money. If he wants the serious money, then you let him go. But
Mm.
in the draft, I mean, there's plenty of receivers that you can get and you can
Butte,
position.
I like Boutier. I
Didn't
like
Kashawn
Boutte
Boutier,
Butte,
say he's
but
going
Butte.
back? Wait a minute. Didn't Boutte say he was going back to school?
no, I think he changed his mind. I think he's actually coming out
Mm-hmm.
now. He might have
Okay.
wavered back and forth, but I think he might have changed his mind. He's actually coming out in the draft.
Okay.
Right out from
Um.
Nebraska.
I mean, Boutte is okay. He can develop. Addison. Addison intrigues me because he can play on the outside, but I think he's more of the slot. But he can play both positions. So I mean, he's not
How are
he's
these
not
guys at route running? Who's the best route
probably
runner?
Addison. I take Addison. Quentin Johnson has to be developed. He's just that he's so big and fast. They don't
I
run
like
true
Johnson.
routes
Yeah.
at TCU, so that's what gets him off. I mean, the system is different. Smith and Zay Johnson can run routes, but he's more of a slot. Hutchinson is the outside; he can run decent patterns. All these guys do still have to develop, because coming from the college system to the NFL, there is a little bit more. There's more of a difference, and you have to fine tune, your route running. But they most of them are okay. Addison, I think, is probably close to, if not the top route runner, and he also
Hmm.
secures the pass. He does well at securing the pass.
That's
So,
the guy. That's the guy I want. I want a guy that's a good route runner and that has a good catch percentage. Because I'm tired of drops and I'm tired of miscommunication on routes, man, from these receivers.
Hmm.
Almighty, is Jordan again? Jordan's Addison going in the top 10 is contingent upon what happens with the quarterbacks and with everyone above there. Always look at it that the quarterbacks are going to get bumped up to into the top orders. How
Hmm.
many go in the first round? I mean, the top 10. You might have three. You might have four. I mean, I've seen
Hmm.
some say Richardson can go at 10. So right now you're talking about Richardson. You're talking about the kid from Levis,
Will
Oh,
Levis,
Will
yeah,
Levis, yeah.
CJ
uh,
Stroud, and
Stroud, and
Bryce Young.
Bryce
Bryce
Young.
Young.
So that's four right there, and they can go anywhere. I mean, Richardson is the one that can go anywhere in the top 10 down to the bottom end of the first round. So,
So the Bears have number one
Yes.
yep,
pick. Um, I think they're sticking with Fields. What y'all think about that? They could trade out
yes,
of the
no,
pick,
they've
but
already said no. They've already said Fields is their quarterback. He's already said
Yeah.
that.
They're in
So,
a sweet spot. They could
yeah,
take they could
Texans.
trade back. Texans, I think, are going quarterback.
quarterback. Well, it
Mm,
depends on who first of all, it depends on who the head coach is.
Yeah.
true.
Because if
True.
the head coach comes in and thinks he can do something with Mills, then they're not going to go quarterback. So,
Arizona.
No, they still have
No.
Kyler under big
Yeah,
yeah,
they
money.
they
just
just
signed him to a big
yeah, you
deal.
just signed him, and then you're going to bring in a new head coach. You're going to get a new head, and you're saying that Kyler is going to have be able to give his thoughts on the head coach. So he's staying, so
Mm.
he's there.
What about the Colts? I think
They
they need a
should.
quarterback.
They
Yes,
badly need it. They badly
yeah,
need a
they're
quarterback.
probably
um,
quarterback and with the head coach. Yes, I see
Yeah,
that.
they're going to be the second team to draft a quarterback.
Here's an interesting one. The Seahawks.
No,
I think
they've
they're sticking
already.
with Geno.
Yeah, I think they've
Think they're gonna
already
stay
said
with
that.
Gino?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think they've already said that, or
Okay.
they want him to come back as their franchise quarterback.
I could see them going quarterback in like the mid rounds, but
Yeah,
not in the first round.
no, not in
So
the
so
first round.
far we only have two: Houston and the Colts.
Hmm.
Number 6 is Detroit. I think they're probably gonna stick with golf. Who you
No, I
got?
Yeah.
think they're sick of, they like Goff and what he's done with that
Mm.
team.
The Raiders.
They're going
Yes.
to go. I think they're
They're
going
probably gonna
quarterback.
go
Yeah, they're
QB,
going to go
right? Yeah.
quarterback.
Depends on what
Because
happens
Um,
in free agency with them,
so
though.
that's 3, and then the Falcons.
no,
No.
I think they're going to give Ritter a chance to see what he can do next year.
Mm.
Also, don't forget somebody behind can trade up into the first. I mean, the
Right.
higher.
I'm
The
just going through
Jets,
the.
the
I'm
Jets
just
could be a
going through
team.
the first like 10 or
Yeah.
15. Carolina
Yes.
quarterback. So that's
I think.
Carolina. That's
I
the
think they will.
Raiders.
I know. I know they talk about what's
That's
his
the
name.
Colts, and that's the
Oh,
Texans. So that's
Corral.
4.
Yeah. I know they're talking about Corral, but I mean, they don't have a head coach. They don't have a head coach right now. So
No.
That's 4 right there.
Where's
And
Washington picking, by the way? The Commanders.
Washington, the Jets are picking 13th. They could possibly
I can see the
use a
I
Jets.
still think
That too.
I threw it out there. I still think they're sticking with Zach Wilson. I don't know
Yes,
why
me
they're going to
too.
give that kid another chance.
I see them
um
going offensive line.
Yes,
Washington is
absolutely.
16th.
Would they go
Um
Richardson? Do you think they'd be the team that would take a chance on Richardson?
Tampa. You might want to watch for Tampa. It's a
Mhm.
Florida team. They're picking 19th.
Yeah.
And they
Um
might trade up. They might. I
yeah.
can see them
The
trading
team
up.
to watch, and I can't believe I'm fucking saying this. It's the
Eagles.
Eagles because they're
Yep.
picking 10th, and
Mm-hmm.
they have the flexibility to trade down.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So that's
They're
a
gonna.
team to watch for.
Coach,
Um,
I was gonna ask you real quick. Do you think that Washington could be a team that could be a good landing spot for Richardson? An explosive running quarterback that they could develop for like maybe a year or so.
but who's the OC? Like, are we still doing the Ron Rivera thing, Riverboat Ron?
He is right now for the time being.
Right.
Yeah.
If they
I
were
don't
going to
know,
fire
man.
him, I think he would have been gone by now.
Yeah.
Nah, he's still gonna be
Looks
there.
like it. Will you guys be okay keeping Tyrod Taylor's about? He's under contract, so I
Yes,
think he's
yeah,
here.
He's not
I don't
going
have an issue
anywhere.
with him. I don't
No.
have an issue with him as a backup. I don't.
It's a
I mean,
backup, man. It's a backup
yeah.
guy. The Commanders are rolling with Sam Howell. They could roll with Sam Howell.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
yeah, I get it. I get it.
I mean,
He's not
so
bad when you get him an opportunity. He's got a lot of playmakers out
it's
there.
like a lot of these guys, man. They need to be developed, man. They
Yes.
need to be developed, and I don't know. I question Washington's coaching staff if they can develop a QB. But that's not me being a Giants homer. That's just me looking at that franchise, and they have had a problem at the quarterback position, and they have not done well developing guys that they have drafted. So, I don't know, man. I don't know about Washington. That's always a sore spot for them is the quarterback,
Well, all
man.
right. In the whole league, what teams really need a quarterback? I mean, even though the Jets need one,
Yeah,
they
that's what
just
we just went through. The
yeah,
the
no,
the, the
that's
Bucks.
what I'm thinking in my head. I'm like,
It's probably like 6 or 7 that you could really think of.
but now the quarterbacks might be falling depending on what happens in the first round.
But then you got
You
free
know,
agency. Where's Brady going? Where's Rogers
is
going?
he going?
Where's
I don't
Lamar
see
going?
Rodgers going
Where's
Jimmy
anywhere.
Garoppolo, Carr.
Garoppolo? Where's Carr? Like some of these other guys, you
Yeah,
know.
that's true. That's true. I forgot about
So
that.
some of those guys are gonna get signed or traded, and then that's gonna,
To be
shift things
honest,
around to where it'll
and then
open
the
up some
combine, yeah,
things.
the combine is really
Yeah.
going to dictate, and personal workouts are going to dictate.
And you got to think about it too. What other positions that are very valuable in the draft? You have defensive linemen, pass rushers, offensive tackles, and you got cornerbacks. Cornerbacks get drafted very high recently too. So these guys can start emerging as well as playmakers. And you could see these guys somehow sneak their way into the top 10 as well if some teams,
Justin
want to give them
Fields,
chances.
although Justin Jefferson might be able to play quarterback, but
Yeah, well,
Justin
think he's
Jefferson's
talking
a receiver.
think he's talking about Justin
no,
Fields. That's
Justin
just probably a
Fields.
Yeah,
typo.
He
you
probably
Yeah.
called
can
me.
play
You
better at
called me for a
quarterback
second.
than Cousins.
I
You
had
called
to
me for a
read it
second.
for a minute. I
Yeah,
was
I was
like,
like, wait a minute,
quarterback
the bear.
Justin Jefferson.
Justin
I'm like,
Jefferson.
yeah, and then you say quarterback. I'm like, wait, I thought it was receiver for a
No,
second.
what,
Yeah,
what I think the Bears are going to do ultimately, they're going to hold that number one pick for ransom, and they can
yes.
get a monster boatload of picks if they move back a little bit.
I'll
Because
take
So
everybody's
Anderson,
going to move
like
to number one.
Almighty
the
says.
Bears are in
Take
the
Anderson.
perfect position because number one, they have all that money, so they're going to
Exactly.
fill so many different positions that yes, when they go to the draft, it would not surprise me if they traded back and got a first round draft pick even in subsequent years after that.
Hmm.
Exactly. The
They
Bears, I
need to
think, are
get
one of
that
those
pick
teams.
back that they traded us. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
a perfect
I think the
scenario for
Bear.
them.
I think the Bears are one of those teams that could get good in like a year or two because they have so much
Exactly.
money and they're going to be able to fill a lot of holes in the draft and free agency where they could
Mhm.
become a team that could get a lot better. And I think with them, they need to get defense and they badly need to get offensive line help for Justin Fields. Their offensive line is horrendous. If they can
Yeah.
get some protection for Fields, that team could be really they could be I'm not gonna say a playoff team, but a much improved team going in 2023.
Right. And we don't know what's going to happen within their division with Aaron Rodgers and
Hmm.
so they could be a team on the rise. Detroit is another one.
I'm saying right now, I think Detroit's gonna win that division next year.
Mm,
I think
mm.
Detroit's gonna win the NFC North.
I had to see what they do in the offseason because their defense was okay, but they still got to get better
They're getting that kid
defensively.
back, the rookie Jamison Williams is gonna have a full season though. That's another
That's
explosive
offensively they're
playmaker.
stacked. Yeah, and
Yeah,
their OC, I think if any OC deserves to get a coaching job, it's probably theirs because he's been really good, man.
I'm glad
He's
you
been
actually
really
brought him
good.
up real quick, NYG. I think he actually just said recently he's going to turn down any opportunity. He's going to remain
Oh,
the
okay.
offensive
Okay.
coordinator in Detroit.
Okay.
So he's sticking with the team next year. So
Okay. That's cool, man. Because that's a team that's on the rise, man.
yeah,
Shout out to the Lions, man. But we're Giants fans, so let's get back into the Giants. Now what we talked about with the quarterback position, the players are going to slide. Players are going to
Hmm.
slide. And we should be able to get a decent player. Now,
Yes.
here's the thing: when we talk about draft, would you guys entertain trading down out of that pick?
Depends on what you're getting.
Right.
I mean, it honestly
mm,
depends on what you're getting. I would.
I'm open for everything. Anything and
Because
Yeah.
everything I'm open
Yeah.
for.
I
I'm.
think
I'm
I think we're in a good spot here. You know what I'm saying?
now with the
Here's a
draft too.
here's another
There's. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
one more question. Would you guys entertain trading a number one pick or your number one draft pick for another player, either on the line or at wide receiver
Depends on what else we do. It depends on what we do
I'm
really in
trading
free
number one.
agency.
in free
No, I don't know.
agency?
I'd be very, very scarce to trade a number one. A two,
Mm.
I think about it. A one, no. I'd be very,
Oh,
very,
one.
very
I'm
hesitant
not.
to
I'm
What
not
try
did
trade a
what
trading.
one.
did Shane and them trade for Diggs? Was it a one for Stephon Diggs?
I think it was a.
Well,
I
if
think it
you
was
I think
a.
it
if you're
was a
getting a
one.
Stephon Diggs, that's you're talking about.
Well, that's what we talking about. Yeah, I'm not trading. I'm not trading a one for guys like Jerry Judy and the fucking Brandon Cooks from Houston. No, we talking about a
Yeah,
true
they
number
did.
one guy,
They
a
traded.
true number one guy.
They
What
traded
what
Stephon Diggs to the Buffalo Bills for the number 22 pick. So they traded a one for Diggs.
So
Mhm.
the question I have is, give me a receiver currently on the
It's got to be
NFL roster.
Higgins.
Higgins, I'm not. I think you can get Higgins for a number two. I
Mm,
really think you can
I
get
don't know.
Higgins for a number two.
That's I could see it, Coach, man. But really, when you picking late in the first round, that's kind of like a two.
I'm not saying. I'm
Only
not saying.
difference is the fifth year option. I agree with that, but
I
yeah.
mean,
You're
Lou,
gonna
the
have to
Lou.
links in
trade
the
for him.
Yeah,
You're
links
gonna
in
have
the
Higgins
to.
big blue
fine.
chat, Lou. But
You're
here,
gonna have
here
to
you go,
trade
bro.
for him, and you're gonna have to give him a contract as well because he's gonna be due a contract, Higgins. So you're gonna be
Yeah,
tying up money
exactly.
with them as well. So we got to think about that too when it comes to trading for a wide receiver. Because I heard Burrow's looking for an extension after this year too. So
Hmm.
they're ready to pay their quarterback.
Uh-huh.
So Higgins is going to be the guy. It's just how much is Higgins going to command in free agency?
But see, I'm
And how
I'm
much are we
looking
gonna
at
be
it
willing to
like
pay him?
Diggs because remember, Minnesota, it made Diggs expendable because they had the other guy, Thielen.
Thielen, yeah.
Hmm.
And
So,
they
and I'm
used
looking
Jefferson pick on when they traded
and
Diggs.
that's how I'm looking at the Cincinnati situation is because they got Jamar Chase and Boyd, that makes
Hmm.
his Higgins expendable, but they ain't giving him away. I'm gonna tell you right now,
No.
it might cost you a one. Are you willing to do that? G Nation, Lou, what's good, bro?
I mean,
Little hungover.
he's shown he can be. I mean, if you're telling me, based on in terms of the draft, of course. I mean, I mean the receivers in the draft, but if there's a defensive player that you really feel can help the defense, who's more
Mhm.
valuable? Now it's weighing who's more valuable. I
Who's
get it.
more
I
valuable
understand.
between a defensive player and who?
The
And T
wide
Higgins
receiver.
for a first round draft pick.
Depends on the defensive position that we're
I
looking
mean,
at.
I get
Because
where you're
we
going.
need linebackers, man. Like
I
Fact.
just
desperately.
think I think you can get T Higgins for a second round. I'm not saying they're not going to ask for a first round draft pick. I'm just saying in terms of negotiation, Cincinnati, if we went to them, should start next for a first, and then you negotiate. You work your way back down. So that's why I say I think you can probably get a second, especially if we say, oh, we'll give you a third and a fourth. Then you're going to work up to the second round draft pick. So,
Mm.
but I mean, I do understand getting the free. If you want him that badly, then give him your first round draft pick.
What do you
Do
think
you?
that Tremaine Edmonds is going to cost in free agency? How much do you think it is going to be per year for Tremaine Edmonds and linebacker?
I have to look up the linebacker rates.
It's
Um,
gonna be a pretty penny, man. I'm hearing
Mm.
that he's going to cost a lot, man. But that would be my target, and I think the path that I would go, I would try to trade for a guy,
Mm.
and I would
14.
throw the bag at Tremaine Edmonds. Um,
Let me see. Deion Jones from the Browns is making averaging 14.25 a year. Shaq Thompson is at 13.54. So let's just say you're going to have to really give him about 12 to. You may even have to give him 15 a year.
mm.
Mm.
Blue City. DJ is our guy. I'm not going to entertain the quarterback questions. This off season, I did that last year. But what I will say is, um, if you can get a guy later on in the draft, maybe in the later rounds, and somebody that they might want to develop, I wouldn't be mad at that. But in the first 3 to 4 rounds, I don't want them taking a quarterback.
Mm-mm.
This is what I'll say to that,
Quarterback
Blue
either.
City. Let me tell you my opinion on that. My somewhat unpopular opinion, I guess. Uh, not to bite off of you, NYG,
Go
but
ahead, bro.
um, I think DJ is our guy for at least the next 3 to 4 years. I would say for the next, he's been here I would
Yes.
say 6 years. And the reason I'm saying 6 years is in 3 or 4 years, you go draft a quarterback and you sit him. Make sure he's a good quarterback,
Right.
and you sit him behind EJ and let him learn for a season or two, which is what should have happened with DJ and Eli. Because
Mhm.
I promise you, if we'd have sat DJ down and let him learn behind Eli while we address the O line and the defensive
hmm
line, by the
hmm
time Eli would
hmm
have retired, Daniel Jones would have stepped in already seasoned and knowing the
Right.
game, knowing the playbook, and he'd
Yep.
have a line in front of him that would protect him, and there would have
Mhm.
never been none of this discussion.
True that.
So I think we need to start doing things the right way, which is what we have
Mhm.
not been doing for the past 10 to 15 years, 10 years. Because Ernie, of course, he was doing his thing. We had guys, Strahan was on his way out, Pierre Paul was there, Tuck was there, Ominura was there. That's the way you draft. You have
Mhm.
good players, you draft another player in that same position so that good player can coach him up and get him ready. So when that good player is on his way out, this guy slides in and it's a smooth transition.
Mhm.
Instead of
Mhm.
trying to go get a number one pick fresh from college who's never been in the NFL, and now he's got to come in here and try to block these big ass men with his kid strength. It, it's
Mhm.
it rarely works.
And to your point, Lou, how you feel about Aziz Ojolari?
I think he had a good first year. I think the injuries plagued him the second year, and I think the changing of the system might have affected him a bit.
Mhm.
Because you
I'm a
remember
little concerned with
his first year was in Graham's defense, Patrick
Graham.
Graham's
Yeah.
defense, which
Yeah.
was a totally different defense than
Mhm.
Winks.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
he kind of
Mhm.
flourished in Graham's defense, but he kind of struggled with Winks' defense. Now I think maybe next year, having a second year under his belt, I think he'll be able to grasp the system a little better. But I would still like to go get another edge rusher.
I agree with you, Lou. I think I think not necessarily is so much the system with Aziz, it's the injuries. He had 5.5 sacks in 7 games. He's productive, but he can't stay on the field. And remember, he had this problem coming out of college. It was a big injury concern with Aziz Ojulari. So the way I would approach it, I'm with you. I would keep Aziz, let him continue to develop, but go get you another guy right behind, because you need more than 2 guys anyway.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? We can't just
Look at
get it
Philly.
done. You see exactly.
Look
You
at
know what I'm
look at
saying?
our giant Super Bowl run. We had
Mhm.
Yumanura, Tuck, Matthias Kiwanuka.
Mhm.
What was the other one?
Tollefson, Strahan. We had a ton
Yeah.
of them. We
Yeah,
had them all
we
over
had
the place.
that whole front defensive front was scary. No matter who was in there, backups or starters.
Mhm.
Yep.
So that's the kind of the depth that you need.
I don't want Van Der Esch.
I don't want
No,
nobody
he's
from
hurt
Dallas.
all the time. No, he gets
Jalen
hurt
Smith
all the
sucked.
time.
Jason Garrett sucked. I don't want nobody from
No,
Dallas.
no more Dallas Cowboys, please.
Facts. Keep the motherfuckers away.
He's got a
from
neck
us, man.
injury too. Van Der Esch has had multiple neck injuries. You want to bring a guy like that into the team? No, let him stay with Dallas. I don't want to touch him.
I know one thing. We got 2 number 3s. If we can wheel and deal one of them 3rd-round picks for a linebacker or a decent receiver, I'm all for it. But it has to be a guy who hasn't been injured in the last year and a half, and a guy who we know can produce. I don't want a guy who's fresh off an injury, and then he comes on the field in 2 months, he's injured again for the season. Like that I don't want. If we're going to go free agency for a guy, get a guy with a clean track record of health.
I didn't see Wink say that. Blue City. Did he said he didn't want to be a head coach until he helped the Giants win a Super Bowl?
No, he never said
that's
that.
not what he said. What he said is
I never
this is
heard
not a
that.
stopgap for him. His focus was right now on this year and developing the system. But if somebody offers him a job and the money is right, I mean, no disrespect, and he's not getting any younger. Bro has to go do what he got to do.
No,
But
Did you see what his defense did last night? He ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
You
And
see what Mike Kafka's offense did yesterday? He ain't going nowhere neither.
No, they're gonna stay for at least another year.
And he is the perfect D coordinator, man. I honestly, I love Wink, man. I wish him the best. You know what I'm saying? But to me, he will be one of those guys that get a head coaching job and probably not do well because he's such a defensive coordinator. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
I think
that
that's
guy
how they have
is a
him pigeonholed
defensive
too.
coordinator. Yeah,
I think that's exactly how they have him labeled.
And that's why he's been having a hard time getting a head coach job. Remember, he had an interview with us a few years ago. So,
and remember, guys, too, they don't even have all their players yet. They've been playing with a lot of the guys they had to inherit. So they still have to get their guys in here. And who knows what this defense can really look like when they have legit depth on the D line. We have legit linebackers and better players in the secondary.
Damn good point, Jeff. That's true. We've only had one draft. So this is going to be the second draft. And now, you got a good idea of who your team is, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses. And now Shane, Dable, and Kafka can come together and say, hey, listen, this is the style of offense and defense we want to play. These are the types of players that we need. Let's go look at these guys and see which one's better fits the bill.
Absolutely.
Yep. Blue City says James Washington. He didn't. He's still on a free agent.
Now,
but
it goes. I think he goes to a future contract if they decide to bring him back.
Yeah.
Quincy Roche is another one. These practice squad guys. That's what they are. Practice squad guys.
No, he can go. He's not a system fit.
Right. And the thing about it is we got the practice squad guys playing starting positions for us. This is the problem with the New York Giants. We need those guys to be where they should be, which is on the practice squad. Jalen Smith, Jared Davis, Fabian Moreau, Richie James, like some of these guys, that's what they are, practice squad players. But we've been so hurt and we don't have the talent. And one, like I said, one off season, one draft, we need to accumulate talent so that these guys that are practice squad guys, we don't want to see them got these guys. And like a lot of the guys you talking about, Blue City, I don't want to see these guys on the field.
No,
because if they're on the field, that means we're hurting. We're bad off. So I'm all for building depth and bringing these guys on the practice squad and trying to develop them. But I'm not factoring any of these guys on the practice squad into the future, long-term future of the New York Giants. That's just me. How you guys feel about it?
No, we've done this way too much over the years. We need to get ourselves some legit starting caliber players on this team because we saw it last night. The
We
Eagles
need to
have
empty
that.
out a bunch of these goddamn lockers right here.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they should have been doing.
Need to be empty ASAP.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna walk over to that one over there. Wait a minute. No, let me see.
Is that
I'm
Jalen
Ju-
Smith's?
If I'm Justin Ellis, I would walk out of the
Justin
damn locker
Ellis
room
is
with
another one
shame.
too.
Oh my gosh,
You
that's
should
How
walk
can
out of
you
that
be
locker room
that-
with shame.
Him and Danny Shelton. How can you be that big, but just a marshmallow? Like, dude,
Jason
is a
Kelsey
fucking
threw him
marshmallow.
like he was a marble.
they're burnt Pillsbury Doughboy. That's really what they
Yeah.
are. Man. Come on,
Shit. Big ass marshmallow.
to get mauled the way he did by Jason Kelsey, and with one hand. I understand Kelsey had the angle, but there's techniques to at least not get washed like that.
Goddamn,
I
drop
mean,
your weight.
Right.
Yeah, you
Big for nothing, man. That's what we used to
stable,
say in
you
the
get-
park. We was playing basketball in Brooklyn.
Big for
Just
nothing.
big for
You're
nothing,
Big for
man.
nothing.
Big for nothing. And that's the problem with our D-line depth. That's the dude we had to throw in there as our third guy. We had no D-line depth, and Dex and Leo were burnt out. That was our third guy because we lost
And
Nick Williams and DJ Davidson.
I'm sorry. Leonard Williams is done.
He's starting to give me a
Yeah,
little bit of concern too.
Yeah,
The problem is though, man, we can't cut him, G.
No, I know,
Yeah,
but
'cause
I'm
they
saying
just
we
signed
got
him.
it. We should have kept Dalvin Tomlinson and BJ Hill.
Facts.
Mm.
BJ Hill, that really stings now. That
That would
BJ
bother
Hill
me.
trade.
We
The
let
Dalvin
get-
bothers me.
Who did we get for BJ Hill? Billy Price?
Billy Price.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Fucking
Who's
nerve
no
of
longer
you,
even
Dave
on the team.
Gettleman. The nerve of you. He would have been perfect in this system.
Basically.
Tomlinson would have been. You know what? We couldn't stop the run. Who's good at stopping the run? Dalvin Tomlinson.
Facts. We haven't been good at stopping the run since he left.
We got
Exactly.
rid of both of our run stuffers, Snacks Harrison
Yep.
and Dalvin Tomlinson.
And Dalvin
But I
Tomlinson.
think Dalvin is a free agent too, isn't he? So I think,
Yeah, but shit, he's old now.
Yeah.
but he
How
still
old
can
is he
come in
now?
and be a depth piece to
Yeah.
help in the run game. That's what I'm getting at.
Mm-hmm.
He can come
was
in
a good
and play
defensive
behind.
rotation.
I mean, that's what
guy.
Philly did. They went and got
Exactly.
Linval Joseph and the Ndamukong Suh and all these old guys, man. So
Then Val
maybe
Joseph,
Dalvin
former
Tomlinson.
New York Giant.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
So,
But that's why Philly was so good on the defensive line because they could rotate those guys constantly in and out to keep them all fresh. So that's why they were all be able to produce at the high level that they did, which
But
we
I
did
don't
not
know if
have.
let me
I don't
answer
know if
this
y'all
second
noticed this during the game. Dexter Lawrence was taking out the game in the first quarter.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
Double
double teamed
teams.
him.
they double
They
teamed
just
him the whole
double-teamed
game.
him.
No.
That's it.
They got in his head. If you look at that play where he got off, there was a penalty or some shit. When the ball was snapped, he had his hand down and he was talking shit to the player in front of him. He literally had one hand on the floor. He was talking shit like this. The ball got snapped. He never got nowhere because he was too busy talking shit. They was in his head the whole game. They
Mm.
must have
Something
been
like that.
saying, they must have been saying messed up shit to him, like your mama sucked and all kinds of because he wasn't even paying attention to the play.
Yeah.
Go back and
No,
watch
man.
the game. There was plenty of times when they was lining up and he was still standing up, John with the other guy. I'm
I
like,
think
they took
Philly
out your
Philly
game.
is in our heads, period.
They
They in
are.
all
Out your
their heads,
game.
man.
They
Yeah.
are.
They are. They're in our heads, man. You
And
know,
why are they not
Thibodeau,
in
he
my
was
head?
doing the same thing. He would rush and then he
head?
would stop and go like this, like, hey, where's my holding call? Like, play through the
Keep
play,
playing.
bro.
And
Play
Thibodeau
through
didn't have a
the
good
play.
game
Don't call the
yesterday
flag.
either.
Nah, he didn't.
They
They
didn't
were getting
call-
frustrated.
Yeah.
I think they've called only 2 holding calls all season that was on Thibodeau, and he was held way more than that.
Yeah.
But
He's
I
gotta
think they've
earn the
developed
respect
a
of the
habit
league.
of not giving rookies those calls.
Right,
If you look
exactly.
at it,
He's
for
got
the
to earn
past
that
couple
respect.
Seasons, them rookies don't get them calls.
No, they don't.
Yep. He's got to earn that, man. He's got to earn it, and he will, man. Tibbs will be fine, man. You know what I'm saying? My concern is Azeez Ojulari, and like you said, Leonard Williams. Those guys have underperformed. Well, Azeez can't stay healthy, and I think Leonard Williams has underperformed. Dexter, like King Jer says, Dexter's getting tired, man. This dude's wore out.
Yeah, he
man.
got burnt out.
He's
Playing
burnt,
too many
man.
snaps. He's got nobody
Right.
to back him up.
Exactly. That's
here's
why
the
we
thing.
need depth.
Here's the thing that's going to give us hope. Wink Martindale knew how special Dexter was when he was in the draft. Wink wanted Dexter Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
Wink sees the type of lineman that we need. And if Wink is allowed to have his input in this draft, Wink is going to bring us some dogs for this defense.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing I'm sure of.
No,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
Because if you look at his history in Baltimore, yeah, he wasn't the GM, but I'm sure that they took his input into account.
Mm-hmm.
And that defense that was built over there was serious.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if
Mhm.
we can replicate that type of drafting over here for the defense, it's going to be a problem for the rest of the league next year.
Right, King Jersey.
You're right, King Jersey,
Dibs
yes.
needs some more pass rushing moves, and he'll
Mhm.
get those with a year of off season and developing. And that's why I'm so big on keeping the continuity with a lot of these coaches and some of these players as well. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want too much turnover coming off of a playoff team. You know, and a lot of fans, you know, scrap it all, get rid of this guy, get rid of that guy. But you need to keep some continuity, man, so these guys can develop within this system. This defense, Wink's defense can be a dominant defense. He's shown that, you know what I'm saying? But you gotta have the right guys in this system, you know, and you need depth because what we talk about rotations, defensive line rotations,
Yeah.
cornerback rotations, you know, these certain packages where he can have these exotic blitzes. You know what I'm saying? We don't have that, man. We're lacking talent in a lot of areas, man. And I think with an off season and a draft to fully restock everything, we will definitely do that.
Yeah.
I'm 2 hours in, y'all. I wasn't really going to do this for a long time, man. I do appreciate the 10, 15 in the chat, man. This was good, man. I'm
Thank
glad
you,
we got to
guys.
like get this shit out our system and let's move on and look forward to the off season. You know,
I'm not
and
even
be
sad.
49er fans because we don't want to see
Facts. Yeah.
Yeah.
we don't want to see them.
I'm not watching football. I gotta watch Dallas and Philly in the
Oh
championship
my
game.
god,
That's gonna be a shitty birthday for me if I gotta watch those two in the championship game.
I'm not listen, it's stung yesterday, but today I woke up like, man, we made it to the divisional round.
right,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
I was 2 games off from being 11-6.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? We did it. We had a damn good year, bro.
Hey, we
All
got the
things
new one
considered.
though. We got the new one. I heard y'all last night. 14 and
14
3.
and 3.
That's the new joint.
No,
Yeah.
that wasn't me. That was him.
14 and 3.
I'm gonna say 13-4.
13 and 4. All right.
13 and 4, I'll take it.
13 and 4. Got you. All right. We can roll with that. That sound good. All right.
Now watch this shit. Watch me say 13-4. We end up 11-6. I'm gonna be sick. I'm gonna be fucking mad as
It's probably gonna happen. It's probably gonna happen.
Oh shit,
mad
man.
as
But
shit.
this team does have a bright future. We will be
Mhm.
good. Let's keep the continuity, man. Let's pay our guys, man. Get them back in here, get them back in the building, man, and let's do our thing. We'll go around the board, man. Just give your last spills on what you think, man, moving forward. We'll start with Coach, go to G, Jeffy, then I'll go round it out.
Well,
So
what I
X'd
think,
out the board. He said, Coach G, Jeffy, me. He just made a big old X for the season's over. That's all what you did.
right now, just take a look at the roster and start evaluating, just like we talked about. Look at free agency, identify your targets in free agency. Well, first, who you're bringing back with all the players that are leaving. Like I said, out of the 22, I think like 10 or 12 are gone. So we have spots to fill. So can you get that through free agency or through the draft? What's the money situation? We know Galladay is pretty much gone, so that's going to open up some money. Are you renegotiating, extending? Who else can you cut? To generate more money. And then who are you targeting? We know DJ and Saquon. Those are going to be the big pieces. I know DJ said he's going to talk about his contract later. That's basically saying nothing's set in stone. So he's going to play. He's going to play the market. I get it.
Yeah.
He wants to get as much money as he can. So that's smart on his end. But once he sees, I think he's going to resign with us, and that's going to really set everything from there. And then, like we talked about, the receivers, offensive line. I mean, I see our future. As I said before, our future is bright. The NFC East is back to being the division for the NFL, and I'm loving that aspect of it. And that's pretty much it. Go Big Blue.
You know what's crazy? I think that we dominated this year, our division. On another note, like had Ron Rivera not known that they would have been eliminated that game, I don't think he would have started Carson Wentz. I think he would have went with Heineke, and it would have been the NFC East, all 4 teams in the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah.
There would have been no Seattle. It would have been Washington, or there would have been no Green Bay. It would have been Washington. One of them 2 teams wouldn't have made
Green
it.
Bay was a team. I mean, not Green Bay, but Seattle was the team that knocked Washington out.
But that's what I'm saying. Is we went from the NFC least, is what they've been calling us for like the last 3 or 4 seasons, right? To almost all 4 of our teams from the division making it to the playoffs.
Right.
And historically speaking, whenever the NFC East does good, the whole NFL is better that season for some reason. Like the games are better, they're more enthusiastic to watch. Like even when they're not your team, it's like, oh, this is gonna be a good ass game. I'm gonna watch this one. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
because the heart of the fan base is the heart of the NFL fans are in the Northeast or on the East Coast.
Exactly.
where football was born.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But nah, man, all in all, I'm proud of these guys. It was fun while it lasted. We made it as far as we can go with the deficiencies that we had, but man, I'm proud of these guys, and I can't wait for next year. I'm already, I'm about to start digging into draft picks and college players and you know, free agency. You know, we got a bunch of videos coming, all of us. I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
So,
yep.
but yeah, man. And this year, I would like to do a little more collabs, man. You know, we need to work more together. Me, you, Jeff,
I agree.
Coach,
Definitely.
Adam, Jay Lay, Matt. You know what I'm saying? I know me and Adam went at it yesterday, but we had a conversation off screen afterwards on the phone. You know what I'm saying? It was a misunderstanding. I thought he told me shut the fuck up. And I ain't gonna take that from nobody unless your name is Jesus. So, you know, and I mean Jesus Christ, not just some Spanish nigga named Jesus. You know what I'm saying? So that's where that came from, but we cleared it up, you know. But yeah, we need to collab more, man, because a lot of us have a lot of different input, a lot of different angles that we come at the game from. And it's good for fans who don't know football like that to hear all these different angles in these discussions and see these film breakdowns and these plays. And you know, we're having fun while we're doing it, but we're actually teaching a lot of people the game and a lot of young
teaching
people.
each other. You don't know how much I learned from you, G, from Pat, from Jeffy, from Coach. Like I learned a lot from you guys, man. I'm not
from all of y'all.
You know
I learned
what
a
I'm
lot
saying?
from all
Same
of y'all.
thing.
Yeah, I've learned from everybody on this panel and some of the guys who ain't here right now. You know what I mean? Because none of us knows everything. You know, but
Here's a quick update. Talking Giants just posted about 4 minutes ago. The offseason has begun. Giants signed running back Jason Corbin to a futures deal. So they're already at it.
Oh,
That's
Deshaun,
good.
was it that
Corbin.
Deshaun
Deshaun
Corbin?
Corbin,
Yeah,
from
Yeah,
Florida
remember him?
State.
Yeah. Okay,
But I just love the fact they're already on their grind. They're not waiting. They're doing what they got to do to get guys in playing within the rules, and I love seeing that. We played a game last night. The next day, you were right back to business,
Yep.
and that sets the precedent in the organization. That
Don't
tells you
dwell on that shit. Right.
exactly. Don't
Keep it
worry about
moving.
that. It's
Turn the page.
keep it moving.
Yep.
So I love that. So now, do you see what I'm saying? That's why the excitement is there for me because our future is set. So, thank you.
I would like to see Joe Shane at the Pro Bowl talking to some of them free agents.
Yeah. Let's do that.
You got to double check the rules. I don't know if he's able to do that ahead of time to talk to free agents like that. So at a Pro Bowl. I
Oh,
mean, if
that's
you're
right.
talking
Yeah, you
about
can't talk to them within this. Yeah, that's right. I forgot.
Oh, that's tampering, I guess.
Players usually talk though, you know,
They
when they're over
talk.
there
They
for
talk
football.
though. Yeah, they
Jay
talk,
Sean
man.
Jay Sean was already part of the team, so that's why I get
Mhm.
that. So
So
Yeah.
we need to send our Pro Bowlers there and make sure that they talk very highly of our coaching.
exactly.
Yeah,
Dex,
yeah.
Barkley,
Saquon will be there. Barkley will be there. So
and Dex.
and Dex, yeah. Go ahead, Jeff.
I don't know why
Say your
Felicia's
last
here,
spill.
though, somewhere.
Appreciate you, King Jers, man. Definitely appreciate you,
you.
man. You know, we
Thank you,
appreciate
Jers.
all. We're the only channels, the Big Blue Crew, that interacts with their chat. You go to these other channels, man. It's not knocking these other content creators, man. But all of us here, we always integrate with our chat, man. This is why I love what we do, man. You know what I'm saying? Because you are just as much as part of the show as all these guys are on the panel. So
That's
salute.
a fact. Because before we started our channels, we used to come in these chats
In
and
the
support
chats.
other content
Mhm.
creators. And we know how it feels. You know, you comment 30 damn times and nobody responds to you. Like, you know
Right.
what?
Hmm.
This guy. You know what I'm
Fuck
saying?
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah. But go
So
ahead,
we
Jeff.
try to give everybody that same respect because everybody's opinion matters, even if it
Mhm.
differs from mine. You have a right to
Mhm.
think the way you think and speak your piece. You know what I'm saying? So
Real
we try
shit.
to give everybody their voice here.
Mm.
Go ahead, Jeff.
I mean,
you got it.
I mean, just the only disappointment I have is the fact that we lost to the Eagles yesterday. I mean, it's just a bitter thing because I'm so sick and tired of losing to that football team.
It's not who we how it's not that we lost. It's who
also
we lost
how
to.
it's who we lost to, and in a way how we lost
Yeah.
because we lost when it looked like that we just were not there to play. It looked like we just were not there the entire game through. So I'm proud of this football team. I'm not mad. I'm very excited about this New York Giants team going forward. I'm excited at what this team is going to do in the offseason. I'm curious to see what they're going to do in terms of personnel moves. Maybe if coaching, little bit of coaching changes here or there, not a wholesale changes, but different coaching position changes here or there. Positional, I have no idea. I have no idea what to expect from this team in the offseason. Anything is possible with Joe Shane and this team. I do believe a good amount of these Gettleman guys will be out of here in terms of the players, and they're going to start filtering in their players. I don't know. I'm actually starting to lean that they're not going to have all 11 of those picks go in the draft. I think one or two of them might be traded for established players, some stars out there that have been in the league for a little bit that are younger. Free agent wise, exactly. Tremaine Edmonds being one of them. I mean, T. Higgins, we talked about it, DeAndre Hopkins, but I mean, we already know what this team needs to do. We need to get more depth. We need to get more O-line, inside linebacker, wide receiver. I do believe we need another tight end. DJ's the quarterback. Barkley will be the running back. We already know the guys that will probably be here. But Giants fans, just be happy. Be goddamn proud about this football team, the way they performed this year, because none of us expected it. Even the most optimistic Giants fans out there didn't think we'd be at the point we are right now. And we're going into next season with a lot more excited. I know, Lou. I know. I was waiting. But
nobody thought we'd be here. I said this shit all year.
Well, you guys did say playoffs. I mean, most Giants fans did not think that we'd be in the position we were in.
I did say playoffs. I didn't I didn't say 11-6. I'm not gonna take that from Lou. That 11-6 was his.
You guys both said we'd be in the playoffs.
I did have us in the playoffs. I had us at 9 wins. I actually got
I didn't think we'd make it to the divisional round, though. I'm not gonna lie and say that I knew that.
No,
you know, I was glad we got a playoff win, and then I pretty much was like, it's gonna get real tough from here. But I was still hoping, you know.
Yeah. But at the same time, I'm proud of this team, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen in the offseason. I mean, draft, free agency, it'll be here before we know it. It's going to be here in like a couple of months.
It's here now, yeah.
Free NFL free agency.
They're making moves already.
2 months, and then the draft, I think, is like 3 months already. So I mean, we're already in the grind. So
can't wait
for that. For all of you guys,
first year of a rebuild.
For all of you guys who are out there viewing, just because football season is over doesn't mean that our content stops.
Nah.
We got basketball, college, baseball, football, hockey. I mean, the Big Blue Crew brings
wrestling,
you all
everything,
UFC, boxing, wrestling. You know, if I can find out what channel the ladies football league comes on, so we can watch all that ass jiggle.
Coach got the ladies. Coach got the ladies on.
Coach got the ladies.
Coach got the ladies.
I'm calling them games too. The lingerie football league, where they be out there with geeks hanging out. Yes, sir. Start calling them too, baby. Yeah.
I'm even going to be doing. I'm even going to be doing Canadian. Trust me.
I want Coach Ed to call them lingerie football games with me.
That'd
No,
be
no, you
interesting.
don't. No, you don't.
That'd
Yeah,
be real interesting.
All you will hear me say. All you will hear me saying is, "Hey, baby."
Me,
Yeah.
Coach Ed, and Joe. Me, Coach Ed, and Joel are gonna start calling the lingerie
Oh,
football league,
man.
and that's gonna be a sight to
Y'all
behold.
gonna have to put that on. Y'all gonna have to put that on Patreon because YouTube ain't about to let that shit go down.
No.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Get the ass on that bit.
A lot
Jiggle.
of games
Yeah.
out there.
Real shit, man.
Yams.
But
Oh yeah, yams. Yeah, love me some yams.
Yeah. Look like somebody stole 2 hams and stuffed them down the back of your dress.
Shoot,
we appreciate all y'all, man, for showing up, man. You know what I'm saying, man. And this has been a fantastic season. It doesn't stop. Like Lou said, we will be bringing you much more content. You know what I'm saying? I know Joe, he does his. Hopefully, he's gonna get back on his mockumentary Mondays. You know, we go on Tuesdays. Me, Coach Jeffy, Heart of the City. You know, got the Big Blue Lounge. And you know, you got Coach, his coaches talk, Coach's Corner. You got Jeffy, man, that does his weekly, daily updates. So
shout out to Jeff for making 1,000 too. Sorry, NYG, you didn't even let me know you got monetized. Congratulations, bro.
Well, no, I'm not monetized yet. I still gotta get the watch hours. But thank you, Lou. I appreciate it. And shout out to you, Lou. I give all my credit to you, Pat, and Joel, because you guys were the ones that introduced me on your channels over a year ago. So if it wasn't for you guys, I would not be anywhere near the position I'm in. So I give all my credit to everybody else that was there for me.
I'm gonna let you get away with that.
I'm being serious. I'm being serious.
No, but you put in the work too. I see every day you got a short up. You know what I'm saying? So it's not, we might have introduced you, but you put in the work. You know what I'm saying? So
appreciate that.
You got to give yourself some credit too, because that work comes in. You know what I'm saying? The more you produce, it might take 3-4 minutes to film it, but setting that discipline to make sure you set that time apart to get it done.
Yeah,
that's what gets you there. Remember this YouTube shit. You're investing in yourself.
Yeah.
This is your brand you're building. This is your brand you're building, Coach. This is your brand you're building, NYG. You put that work in, you're betting on yourself. You're investing in yourself. That's why no matter what I'm going through in life, divorce, everything else, I make sure I set time to make my videos and get my stuff out there, because this is for me as well as it is for the people who view it. You know what I'm saying? So you got to give yourself some credit for that work you put in, Jeff.
Thank you. But Lou, are you gonna be doing some? You're gonna be doing basketball stuff too, besides leather to the face, right? You gonna be doing some basketball stuff with your brother or no?
My little brother started a basketball channel, and I'm gonna help him start calling it, but it's gonna be on his channel.
Okay.
Yeah. Send me the link, man, because you know we always talking basketball. You know we always talk basketball, baseball, any all sports. So
it's balling out sports. Balling out sports.
Balling out sports.
Okay.
It's got a muscular lion spinning a basketball on his finger.
Okay. I'm gonna go look that up, man. But appreciate you guys. We're gonna end it. And just think about this before I end it. Joe Shane and Brian Dable have created a culture. And they've got the New York Giants back to where we need to be. So it's going to be more attractive for free agents. It's going to be more attractive for coaches, for players that we draft. The New York Giants are a destination now. You know, we got all the bums out of here, man, that was holding us back, man. All the sleaze balls.
Most of them.
You know what I'm saying?
There's still some around there.
We got a few,
couple.
Yeah.
But
they're lingering.
You know, they ain't as loud as they were. You know what I'm saying? You don't hear all the leaks and all the nonsense that was going on in this organization, man. And for guys to do that in one season is special, man. So, you know, looking for these guys, man, to really take the next step and really put their foot or their stamp on this team, man. And we back, y'all. We back, man. I ain't gonna be no more 4-13 seasons, man. I think these guys got it right, man. You know, and we got a lot to look forward to, man. But
who do you guys got, by the way? Buffalo or Cincinnati today? Just for the hell of it. Who do you think is gonna win? Buffalo or Cincinnati?
Buffalo.
First game.
Do you want to put the bet up?
I'm going Buffalo. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go Buffalo too. As long as Allen doesn't turn the ball over 50 times.
Who you got, Lou?
I would like to see Buffalo win, but for some reason, I think Cincinnati's going to pull it off.
Okay. And I know we all going for San Francisco.
Because Josh Allen hasn't been consistent, man. He's been consistent at turning the ball over.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and yeah, they pulled it off last week, barely, but he almost gave away that game to Miami without Tua.
Exactly.
So, if he don't clean that up, I expect to see the Bengals.
The Bungles.
They got no O-line either.
But if you get the ball, see, I get that, but they have those skill guys that if they get it to just one guy quick enough and let them make plays, that forces the defense to start to ease up a little bit because they are worried about retrace and attack, and the team can nickel and dime their way down the field. And he can
Shit,
still put that ball up to Chase, and Chase will make them damn spectacular plays.
Or Higgins, any one of those
Or
three.
Higgins, or Boyd, yeah. So
you know what just dawned on me, Coach?
what's up?
Icky Woods.
Yeah, the Icky Shuffle.
Oh yeah, the Icky Shuffle. Yeah.
The last time the Bengals went to the Super Bowl was against the 49ers.
Wow.
And they got their ass whooped. Well, no,
I remember that shit. Yeah, they got whoops. Woo.
So, I mean, what if it turns out to be the Bengals and the Niners again, bro?
Could be.
That'll be that. Technically, I think that'll be the third time because the Bengals went, I think, 2 other times and lost both times to the 49ers, if I'm not mistaken.
Because one of them was like 55-10 or some shit like that.
One was a big one and one was a close one. The first one was a close one, and then the second one was a big blowout. No, the 55-10 was
the first one was with the Esiason, right? The first the one they lost close was with Esiason. Yeah, when they were saying they're going to go win the Super Bowl, and then they ended up losing it on the Dwight Clark catch.
Exactly. That was the year that San Francisco was working their way up. They had the catch with Dwight Clark against Dallas. Yeah, so.
Yeah, something tells me the Buffalo, man, they just got that momentum, man. And I know Josh Allen. I'm not saying they're gonna win the Super Bowl, but I do think they at least get past Cincinnati. The Buffalo's problem is gonna be Kansas City because Kansas City, they cannot beat Kansas City for.
You worried about Mahomes though with that ankle? Mahomes' ankle
hurt his leg yesterday.
Yeah.
If they got to rock with Chad Henne, it might be a different story.
That's right.
No, Mahomes said he's playing. Well, he said
I think he will play though. Yeah, but how effective is he gonna be?
Yeah, until they get a hold of his ass, then it's over.
The only thing I worry about with him and that ankle sprain is when they do the stretch. You saw what happens when they were doing the stretch, and he had to go out towards the edge to do the handoff, and he was literally hopping to hand the ball off.
Yeah,
that's my only thing. That if he can't do that, then it's a concern because now he can't move that much off of his spots when he's facing pressure.
If a defensive lineman gets back there and he can't get away, and they hit him low.
So
case in point, that one play where he had all he had to do was run 3 yards for a first down. He couldn't even do it. He had to throw the ball literally into the ground because his leg was just messed up. So who even knows how long he's gonna be able to go? And Buffalo and Cincinnati both got a very good pass rush.
But the thing that with them is their run game, because if KC can run the ball and they can get physical in that run game.
Pacheco,
with Pacheco and McKinnon. Yeah, so I mean they do have that, and they can still do the quick screen stuff, and hell, they even put Tony in the backfield for a couple of runs. So they still do some things. I know you don't like Tony, but
little hammy.
They should have hit him in the throat as soon as he got the damn ball.
Hit him in the hamstring.
I'm looking at the skills and what their offense can do. And based on what they have, they can offset Mahomes' inability to move. So.
Oh, a little hammy.
Nah, he's off shit. Oh, exactly. He's off shit.
I got Judy chop. I got Judy chop my hamstring.
But their offense, I think, even if he can't really move, they can adjust and do things, get the ball out to the edge, and it helps in the pass rush. Because it minimizes it. It helps to reduce it a little bit, not minimize it.
What y'all think about our old friend Spags over there, man? Spags still hanging around, man. I give that dude credit, man. And his defenses ain't been great, but he's still there. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah,
man. I got news about Hodgins. Hodgins is hoping to remain with the Giants long term. So
yeah, I just got that notification too.
Yeah, of course. They gave him an opportunity. Yeah.
his schemes is what makes him a good defensive coordinator as far
Yes.
as Spagnuolo,
Exactly.
because he
And I
can
feel
make
the
the
same
best.
way about Wink Martindale.
Yeah, they can make the
Despite the
best out of
talent,
what they have.
there
Yep.
you go. There you go.
Yes.
And that's what
That's-
coaching is, because you're
Mhm.
not always gonna have the money or the draft pick or whatever, and you got to be able to get the best out of the guys you have. That's what
Mhm.
makes a great coach.
Yep. You said it best,
Wow.
G. And
Wow.
we'll end on that note.
Wow.
Go ahead, Cowboys. Tag them. Tag them.
Yeah, you
Go
saw
ahead and
that
do that.
too, right?
Tag
You
them.
saw that too.
Yeah,
They
tag
what?
them. They
They
might
tag
want to
you?
think
They're
about tagging
considering
Pollard.
Pollard.
Tag them? They want
Yes.
to tag
Yeah.
them?
That's
They're
like 40
considering it.
million on
So
the
they're gonna
running back
tie up.
position.
They're gonna tie up that much money in the running back
What?
position.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do
Are
it,
they
Jerry.
stupid?
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Do
Do
it.
it. Tag them.
That team's gonna be. You think the Rams will have? Whoa.
Do it, Jerry.
What was that? Starsky and Hutch with what's his damn name? The guy, Stiller, Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the new ones.
Do it, just do it. Yeah, do it.
Do it.
Do
Do
it.
it. Do it.
Just do it.
Do it. Just do it.
Do it.
Wow.
That'd be so dumb.
Wow.
That'd be
Yes.
great. That would be
Exactly.
fantastic.
That's like 30, 40 million tied up in the running back spot
And
alone.
then in the quarterback, the mediocre
Exactly.
quarterback, you got money tied up in him too.
They're gonna tie up all that money into the running back and get kicked out against San Francisco.
Exactly.
They're gonna get smacked, and if they don't lose to San Francisco, they're probably gonna lose to Philly. So they
Yeah.
ain't going nowhere. They're not going nowhere. So but yeah, we're gonna stop it, y'all, man. Appreciate all y'all coming out, man, and check out all these guys. Go sub to G Nation Inside Sports. Go sub to Coach Ed Gladney's Amazing World of Sports, and of course sub up to my guy Jeffy T 85.
85, 34, 56, 100 million, 5,236. Yeah.
Round it off to the nearest decimal point.
All right, everybody.
All right.
Peace.